Fanatics isn't just our name, it's who we are. Loyal, passionate fans dedicated to our favorite teams and to the sports we love. That's why we're honored to be able to offer fans the world's largest collection of official sports apparel and sports jerseys from all leagues, teams, and players you love. We feature a wide selection of gear from every league, including the NFL, MLB, NBA, NHL, and NCAA merchandise, which allows us to serve fans of football, baseball, hockey, basketball, lacrosse, soccer, golf, and, well, everything else that gets your heart pumping. Go to fanatics.com by using the QR code on your screen right now to celebrate your teams. That's fanatics.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader. Discover our collection of handcrafted candles. That's right, every product is thoughtfully created in small batches free from harmful toxins for mindful everyday indulgence. Our candles are hand-poured in coconut soy wax with natural wood wicks, offering a long-lasting burn and rich fragrances. Create a cozy, safe ambiance for your home with candles from Alley Rose Fragrances. First-time customers use the promo code InsideEdge20 to receive 20% off your order. AlleyRoseFragrances.com, proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Podcast Network.
Hey there, welcome to the main event on the Inside Edge Net. We got Anthony Alford, Eli Moon. I am Rob Rozycki. We are back on our old streamer. We are comfy. We are happy. We are ready to go. Moon, excellent haircut. I'm finally glad you look like an adult. Anthony, how are things going? Gentlemen, I am so happy we're here this Sunday evening.
Yeah, man, just rocking and rolling. Yeah, new haircut. Got it cut at Hooligans Ink and Barbershop out there in Streetsboro. Took care of me, Isaiah took care of me. Yeah, took care of Papa Moon, and we're feeling good, feeling rejuvenated. Hair's gone, and yeah, beautiful weekend here in Cleveland. Can't complain too much, fellas. Can't complain too much. Double A, why do you look shocked?
No, I don't look shocked. I had to turn the AC back on. No, okay, it's a little toasty, here at our home base here tonight.
Real quick, what did prone the change with the do? Are you looking to get into law school? Are you did you meet a girl? What happened here?
Yeah, just big believer in spiritual energy, and I believe that the hair was carrying bad energy. So I decided it was time for a reset. It's summer. So it's time for a reset, less hair to have to cooperate with, or, this is the second time I've had my hair that long. So, yeah, it's just a lot to deal with. And I just kind of got sick of it. I got sick of it. Like, again, I'm big on energy. I believe what's carrying a lot of energy. Cut it off. Feeling cool. Yeah.
Rob, how come you didn't ask me that question? I got my hair done last week, too.
Oh shit!
Well, I honestly, with the way that your hair's sitting, you're getting you're pretty high up on the shot here. I didn't see it. I didn't see the whole.
Look at that! I got some work done too. I got my hair cut too.
You got a little kind of gray happening right on the situation.
Thank you for your compliment. It ain't a little. It's
No, it's a little. Like, look at me, bro. Like, it's.
Well, yes. You know what though?
Look like Kenny Stabler at age 38 right now. It's bad.
Listen, I think men who have gray in their beards, honestly, Rob, that's an all-time grayness situation.
Oh yeah, well, and it was. I think when you guys met me, I could kind of keep it short, and you couldn't really see the grays. But 10 years later, now it just doesn't matter what happens, and here we are. And yeah, I've embraced it. I got nothing up top. It's gray on the chin. Whatever. Here, there's nothing. What again? We talked about the whole Landon Donovan thing. Talking about baldness like it's absolutely. Like it's pancreatic cancer here. So, yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, look, there was a possibility I was going to be shaved at one point by Kyle Cornell on Unfiltered, and I decided, because Kyle thought, look, I love Kyle, but he thought he was going to be slick and start talking about on Friday's show. Well, hey, you know what? We missed the mark, but it's okay. And again, reminder, like, subscribe, follow Inside Edge Net on all the socials, and, of course, go to the InsideEdgeNetwork.com where you can get your merch and rep Cleveland's digital leader. We didn't hit 10 sales, and Kyle thought he would be slick and be like, but we still have time. We'll see what we can do and run it out again this month. I was like, buddy, we're gonna just go ahead to old hooligans in Streetsboro and get the haircut. I called Kyle ahead of time. I did call Kyle and I said, hey, dude, just letting you know, I'm cutting the hair. He's like, all right, you got to send me a picture. And I think I'm going to be up for possibly meme of the week. If you missed it, Rob, last week, Kyle did his memes of the week. And they were all AA. I'll see if I can pull them back up. Kyle had sent them to me. I actually might be able to
I saw them briefly here. Yeah, they look kind of fun.
In here, Eli. You can pull them up. It's in here.
Are they? Okay.
It's in the studio.
What prone that? Was he just upset in a fit of rage about the Yankees getting that ass kicked 2 out of 3 against Cleveland, and then he needed to vent that out, and then just made fun of Anthony with it? Because that's what I would. That's where I thought.
I don't know,
I don't remember what it was.
So AA, I do. I remember. I will get the sports in a second. I remember. So
can we just make fun of him and the Yankees for a while too? Like we'll put that down we'll put a pin in that.
So AA made a face during Midnight Run because we were working on EV Mux, and AA's like, and I got a face like, and it was like this, Rob. And let me remove the banner here.
Yeah, you look like you got hit in the head with a big old bag of what the fuck.
Yeah, that's his honorable mention. I just pulled that one up. It was clearing out the studio a little bit.
I'm wearing this shirt currently right now.
That's why I wear a black T-shirt for every single one of my appearances on this.
I love it.
Not play.
I love it. Dude. So I think I might be up for the run-in for meme of the week this week. We'll keep an eye on Unfiltered 5 to 6 p.m. here weekdays, and Rozycki, just be careful. Be careful.
If you grow the beard out and you keep the hair the way it is, you'll be like. It'll look like you need to wander into Ohio City looking for the best IPA in the house,
dude.
You'll definitely get that kind of vibe going there. Maybe some flannel that would help that out too.
Yeah, I mean,
you can explore that. You can pick up some chicks that way.
Here's my thing, dude. I just cut so much hair off my beard. Like they were like, "Do you want to get?" Papa Moon looked at me because he's in the chair next to me, and he goes, "Are you getting rid of the beard too?" I was like, dude, I don't know, man. Chill out. Like, I'm literally cutting off almost a foot of hair right now. Like, let me just process this. Because I was ready. I was ready for it, but I was also like, that's a lot of hair.
Actually, you keeping the beard. Now, does you trim the beard?
Oh, yeah. I took
okay, I can tell.
Off.
Yeah, so
took a good chunk off.
You keeping the beard and just trimming it and lining it up is probably the best move.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, you know what? And we'll see how many women it pulls for me. They said I look like a ladies magnet. Well, let's
you got to see Eli. Now you got to do a new profile picture for the website.
I know. I was thinking that yesterday. That's so funny. I was like, well, I guess it's not me anymore because I have long hair in my profile picture.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like AA or I getting a trim or anything. Yeah, there is a dramatic before and after on this one. Yeah, I think there's going to be people confused on who the hell is this dude for a half a second here.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Yeah. So I think, we might need to redo the artwork. There are some sort of before and after. We'll get AI involved. It seems like AI is fine for everything.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, we got the main event here on the Inside Edge net. Well, we could probably just call that first segment there, We Digress. But yeah, we're done talking of the hair and the pleasantries and so on and so forth. We have a whole lot to actually get to. Big sports time going on right now. Baseball's in full swing. NFL is wandering around in their offseason, contracts happening here and there. There was a trade, maybe you heard about that a little bit earlier this week. The Browns may have been involved. We will definitely get into the Myles Garrett situation a little bit later on. But first and foremost, I know we got World Cup and the NBA final, or the NHL and the Stanley Cup Finals. But the NBA Finals are in full swing. Just as everybody predicted, the New York Knickerbockers were going to go into San Antonio and clean house 2 times in a row and be up now 2-0 on the San Antonio Spurs, going back to Madison Square Garden. A very surprising beginning to the finals, and just some of your thoughts here real quick on how we've gotten here over the first 8 quarters of basketball.
Yeah, I mean, well, there's a lot to break down when it comes to this series. One thing is for certain, the Knicks' depth has definitely helped them among the rest and other things as well. But their depth, and this is a team we talked about, being a deep team. They don't necessarily have a superstar. I know Kyle puts Jalen Brunson in the top 5, and I'll hear those discussions. But superstar, I don't know if I put him in like the Giannis, the Lukas of the world, but he's definitely a star. And you win a finals, you're a superstar. But it's an interesting discussion with Brunson. However, he is and has been playing very well for the Knicks. Karl Anthony Towns, that's probably my biggest takeaway. Is Karl Anthony Towns has been electric for the New York Knicks. He had a really, really good game 1, but game 2 is even more standout where, he's really somebody that's very passionate. Karl Anthony Towns, he lost his mom, during COVID and everything. I mean, he lost someone very close to him, and you hear him after these post-game press conferences or, post-game interviews thanking his mom. So it's hard not to root for the guy. You watch his on the court, and then you see him like whining all the time, in my opinion. And it's like, dang. And then you hear him talk after, and you're like, dude, but you're doing it. He's so tough because it's like, man, you're tugging at all the heartstrings, and I feel for you, dude. As somebody who's like a family guy, I appreciate Karl Anthony Towns, but he's also annoying at the same time on the court. But he has been playing very well in game 2. I digress. He's been playing very well game 2, game 1 in this series for the Knicks, and I think that's been the biggest standout. AA and Rob is Karl Anthony Towns, and quickly, and I'll hand it back to AA. It's been the inexperience of the Spurs. Remember, their top 3 guys: Wembanyama in his 3rd year, Stephon Castle in his 2nd year, and Dylan Harper, a rookie. Now, are they giving Harper enough minutes? We can talk about that too, but AA, it just seems like inexperience matched against depth, and Karl Anthony Towns having a standout series. Those are what I've taken away so far.
And let me add on to what you're saying, because the experience versus inexperience, you can even talk about the head coaches. I know it is very unpopular to talk across the league. This is not a Cleveland thing. This is across the league. Nobody gives Mike Brown credit for anything. Nothing, ever. But he has severely outcoached Johnson, like over for San Antonio. Mitch Johnson, like, clearly outcoached him. And the late game situation in game 2, like San Antonio, like they all looked like children out there as opposed to the Knicks. They knew what to do. Wemby made several mistakes, throwing the pass when he threw the pass at Castle near the end of the game and went off his back. I was thinking about Peyton Manning when he was blocking people in that SNL skit.
Oh, no.
Oh, man, yeah. With a little bit of what LeBron in game 1 with J.R. Smith when he's just it was like almost Renaissance art,
Dude,
I had a Facebook memory about posting that 2018 finals because Rob, you and I, we were doing Cavs Finals podcast for TAM back then, and we were doing those shows at 3 in the effing morning. But yeah, that's why I that stayed out. And then too, and I think this is big. Kevin Garnett brought up a great point. He brought up that Wemby and the Spurs treated the OKC series like it was their championship, and he mentioned he was like, dude, the way they celebrate at the end of the game 7, like that's too much. Like, crying and stuff like that. It's like, dude, you got another round to go. And yeah, I think San Antonio was caught sleeping a little bit. But ultimately, though, Rob, as bad as they played, Wemby had an opportunity to win game 2. He had the final shot, and he just missed. I mean, so
yeah, that last sequence, I think what the last 8 seconds of game 2 is going to be talked and has been talked about now for the last couple of days, with the Wembanyama turnover, and then what the pick and pop, what was it, Stephon Castle, and you have probably the most dominating inside presence in the NBA today, taking a 12-foot jump shot to decide the game. And when you have the narrative around Wembanyama anyway, the one criticism is that he does like to wander away from the basket and think he's a 6'5" shooting guard. So yeah, they're going to be talking about that a lot. I think with Wembanyama in general, you're seeing 2 things happen. You're seeing just the fatigue, and that's emotional and physical. Double, you talk about them celebrating at the end of the Western Conference Finals, and remember too the narrative around that series was the de facto NBA Finals. You had Michael Wilbon calling the Eastern Conference Finals the JV championship. Even we were kind of assuming like, hey, no matter who comes out of this Eastern Conference, you got San Antonio and Oklahoma City sitting there, you got a buzzsaw, ready to go. So, you were, you may have already kind of, emotionally spent yourself through those first 3 rounds. The Spurs have played 5, 6, and 7 game series now. They played a lot of basketball. We'll see what they look like actually with an additional day off with the venue change from San Antonio to New York. More on the New York stuff later. They're going to get an extra day off. So I want to see how that affects Wembanyama and the Spurs in general. The other thing too, and Eli, you alluded to one side of it with Karl Anthony Towns. It was 21 points, 13 boards.
Correct.
Yep. Where he won that game for New York. And yes, he was the leading scorer. Yes, he outscored Jalen Brunson. Am I a little miffed about that because I had Jalen Brunson over 25 points? Yeah, we're going to go there for a second, but whatever.
That's tough. That's.
I had the Knicks in the money line and Brunson with 25, man. And the Knicks on the money line the last 13 games have been fucking outstanding.
Now, I'll tell you this real quick. I'll tell you, is a guy you always should look into, like his plus money is Josh Hart. If I don't gamble that much, just here and there.
I'll take a look at it. Yes,
Josh Hart's always plus money for something. All right, back to you, Rozycki.
But to the whole leading scorer, Karl Anthony Towns, he also did to Victor Wembanyama what Wembanyama did to Chet Holmgren.
Yes.
Defensively, just messed him up. And you saw maybe not as bad as Chet, who was blatantly hiding in the corner in Game 7, but you saw Wembanyama just not himself. And you cannot tell me Karl Anthony Towns had something to do with that. So I think, that's a big deal where if the finals end in 4 and this kind of keeps on, barring a Brunson 70-point game or something, Karl Anthony Towns right now would be my finals MVP.
He's mine too.
Yeah, same here. He's playing electric. I also want to give a little credit to Mitchell Robinson, who actually had the last stop at the end of the game. And him and Mike Brown against bond over country music. That was a big talk in the post-game presser with NBA media. Was Mike Brown, I'm paraphrasing here, but said that he thinks part of the reason Mitchell Robinson is playing so well and plays aggressive is he listens to country music, just like, it fuels him, whatever fuels him. He got the stop at Wemby at the end of the game. The Knicks are playing electric defense. And this is a team we talked about when the Cavaliers played them before they got to the Cavs, just anticipating a potential New York series, is that, okay, they're going to play half-court offense for the most part. They're not going to run, which actually is why I was surprised in Game 1 that the first 3 to 6 minutes, it was like they were testing the Spurs. They're like, guess what? We're not a run-and-gun team, but we're going to test you and see if we do push the pace, can you keep up? Are you going to be able to rock? And for a moment, it had San Antonio stifled. So I was curious there because they're typically a half-court team on offense, and defensively, they're led by Mike Brown. Before that, Tom Thibodeau. Let's not forget that a lot of these guys were under Thibs, and I know he gets a lot of crap for running players into the ground, and that's why they have short playoff stints. I understand that. But one thing's for certain, he's a defensive-minded coach. And you had Tibbs to Mike Brown, and the Knicks have done what the Cavaliers couldn't, not to harp on our Cleveland guys here for a moment, but they have faced adversity, and they've overcome it now in the year after. I mean, they were supposed to go, I've been seeing on social media, AA. It's crazy, Rob, AA. It's insane. I'm seeing New York fans going, well, this should have been our second chip. You guys are up 2-0. Let me be very clear. Well, us in Cleveland, we know how leads shrink, okay? Because we've come back from 3-1 here. But we know how leads shrink. And I think if any team's capable of beating New York in New York twice in a row, it is San Antonio. So they're like, well, it's their second chip. Just remember, they did have to go past Indiana. They didn't get there. So in a lot of New York's minds, now up 2-0, they're feeling pretty damn good in New York City. It's crazy. It's crazy because it could all change, AA, tomorrow night if Wemby just goes out and puts belt to ass and puts 45 points up.
Well, New York fans are going to think, oh, there's a reason why it's going to change, and we'll talk about that next segment. In terms of basketball, yeah, of course they feel good. I mean, they haven't lost a game since the Atlanta series. I mean, CJ McCollum tweeted out the last time the Knicks lost in the playoffs. So, yeah, they feel good. I do think, though, ultimately, though, the reason why they were able to just suddenly sprint up and down the floor and test the Spurs is to work San Antonio's tired legs. I mean, the fact that they had 8 days off going into these finals, not having all the rest in the world. I mean, even to the point where they're asking Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns, like, how do you guys stay refreshed? Like, well, we got to do 5-on-5s, just during the off time and stuff. So they have really done what they've could to keep themselves together, and go from there. And that's huge. I think, though, too, the Knicks have shown defensively they can lock down with anybody. Karl Anthony Towns has successfully gotten Wemby consistently out of the paint. And that's where Wemby was doing damage against Oklahoma City. You keep him in the paint, you're in trouble.
Yeah, if he's in the paint that last play of the game, the last play of the game, then it's probably a dramatically different result.
Yep, it's over.
Yeah.
That's it.
And
so, like, they're doing the smart things, Rob, and Mike Brown is really showing his stuff right now.
And I know we're giving props to Mike Brown. Let's mention Thibodeau real quick. I know again you mentioned the knack that Tibbs had of running his guys into the ground. That might have actually helped them this playoff run. I mean, all of a sudden now they're playing 9-10 deep. You still got the main guys on this team who were there. Brunson was under Tibbs for multiple years. Karl Anthony Towns played for a year under him. Like, these guys were used to getting their asses kicked, and maybe now it's a little easier to deal with life. And it's a little, especially when you got 17 days off, it seems like, between series.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely helped out, Robin. I'm definitely giving credit, but Mike Brown, and Vince McKee, he's chiming in here from Keon Sports. He actually chimed in and said, about Mike Brown getting him over the hump, kind of what we're alluding to here. Go back, and I know you guys have listened, but, if you get a chance to go back and listen to Mike Brown talking about the relationship he has with Karl Anthony Towns. And mind you, that is the second best player on this team, at least in the Knicks' minds. That's why they went and made that trade with Minnesota. That's why they shipped Julius Randle out of town. Remember, Julius Randle was the guy who was supposed to get it done the time before Karl Anthony Towns. And now they're having a different discussion about who Jalen Brunson's running mate is. I think that's been the biggest step up, because if Karl Anthony Towns isn't playing like how he has been on both sides of the basketball, we're not having a discussion about Knicks up 2-0. We might be having a different discussion. Series flipped and San Antonio up 2-0, because 1-point game, I know it was a 10-point game in game one, but the Spurs, that score doesn't show how close that game was at times. The Spurs were at leading in the second half. I mean, they had that game won, and I just feel like Karl Anthony Towns is playing lights out. They're getting contributions from Mikal Bridges, who remembers being down 2-0, or being up 2-0 in Phoenix, rather, against Milwaukee in the NBA Finals, and getting stunned by Giannis and those guys. And then, you have OG Anunoby, all second team all defense. They're getting the right contributions, but I really do think it falls back on Karl Anthony Towns, at least player wise.
It does. It does.
There's a nuclear right now too. That's the other thing, is the momentum is so much on their side. Landry Shamit's becoming a superstar. He's becoming the next New York folk hero. So everybody's just doing everything right in New York.
Dude, he's like Steve Novak. My bad, double A.
Right. I agree. I want to make one quick point too about Mike Brown, because I just thought about this. You remember at the end of game one against the Cavs, and Mike Brown was laughing and joking about, we used to count the number of dribbles James Harden used to take, like when he was playing for Houston, and like Mike Brown was an assistant at Golden State. It's like, we used to count the dribbles and stuff like that. And I thought that moment, I'm like, man, he's just laughing us off. Like, the Cavs are going to come back. Of course, we learned that the Cavs had no mental toughness, so that wasn't a problem. But then I'm thinking about that moment, and I'm like, man, Mike Brown is really detailed, like extremely detailed about certain things. I don't know there might be a basketball coach watching this show right now. It's going to come after my neck for what I'm about to say. I don't know any coach who tracks the number of dribbles on superstar players that they're facing. And it's little things like that Mike Brown is picking up on, and it might carry him and the New York Knicks to an NBA championship.
Well, let's be honest. Go ahead, Rob. You go ahead.
I was just going to basically just no, you go, Eli. I was just going to pull the plug on the whole thing.
Oh yeah. Well, my final point, and it'll be real quick. The Spurs got on lock Dylan Harper. I know he got 20 or 32 minutes after, I believe, having 26 minutes the game before. And I did call for it in the morning show when I filled in for Omar Clauso Jr. returning tomorrow, 9 to 11 a.m. here on the Inside Edge Network. But I talked about it on Friday. I said they got to give him over 30 minutes. They did, and he gave him more. But I just think there might need to be a switch up in the starting lineup. De'Aaron Fox is in there as a veteran to help Stephon Castle so he doesn't turn the ball over 20 times in 2 games like he did in the OKC series. But when De'Aaron Fox has, a shaky game 1, a good game 2, but what can you expect? I think they got to unlock the Rook. They got to put him in the starting lineup. I'm calling for it. This is my opinion. They got to put Dylan Harper in the starting lineup. I think you put De'Aaron Fox potentially on the bench just because Stephon Castle, I think it would affect him more. I think you tell Fox, you're going to be our juice. You're our 6th man. You're going to run that lineup, and you're going to be our juice with those guys. But Dylan Harper should be playing close to 40 minutes a game. It's the finals. You can rest in about a few weeks. Go rest with a Larry O'Brien trophy by you. I think Dylan Harper needs to be unlocked. That's my final point, Rob.
Yeah, I mean, well, they got to figure out a way to kind of get Wemby some time to chill, because I'm looking at the minute totals of what he's been doing in the playoffs, and I think you talk about options for the Spurs and what they can do. I think that's what we're seeing right now is that they have they are a year ahead of schedule. We were not expected to be this good this quickly, and okay, the top of the roster is great, but the middle and bottom of that reflect it. It seems a lot, and I'm not trying to disparage Cade Cunningham, but this is a better version of the Pistons, where you have the one superstar and then everybody on the roster is trying to keep up with them. And yeah, they got to try. Maybe they need another veteran or 2 on the bench to kind of help things out. That would really help some things out right now with this team. If there was a veteran, Max Strus kind of player to kind of stabilize their bench out. But yeah, we'll see what happens. But clearly New York is red hot right now. They have won 13 playoff games in a row. I believe that is the 2nd longest streak all time. The Golden State Warriors in 17, I think, went 15 in a row. By the way, Mike Brown was on both of those coaching staffs. So, yeah, they are definitely plowing ahead right now, up to nothing against the Spurs, going back home to Madison Square Garden, where they have been unstoppable, where it seems like nothing can get in the way of the momentum that they have started with that basketball team. And that will surely be tested tomorrow. There will be loads of celebrities there. There will be this typical Spike Lee sightings, the Ben Stiller, Super Knicks fans and stuff like that. There'll also be the mayor of New York, Zoran Mandami, and also, I'm sure you may have heard, there will be the 45th and 47th president of these here United States, Donald J. Trump, in attendance in an NBA Finals game. The first sitting president to attend such an event in American history. There is a lot of things swirling around that. There is a lot of actual consequences from the actual visit happening with the fans from New York. We'll get into that. Do you want to get into that next segment? We'll take a quick time out here, and we'll come back, and we will definitely get into the president of the United States going to Madison Square Garden to watch Game 3 of the finals, and what's that going to do from a basketball standpoint and just a life standpoint here. This is the main event on the Inside Edge Net. We have Anthony Alford. We have Eli Moon. I am Rob Rozycki. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll be right back in just a couple of minutes.
Fanatics isn't just our name, it's who we are. Loyal, passionate fans dedicated to our favorite teams and to the sports we love. That's why we're honored to be able to offer fans the world's largest collection of official sports apparel and sports jerseys from all leagues, teams, and players you love. We feature a wide selection of gear from every league, including the NFL, MLB, NBA, NHL, and NCAA merchandise, which allows us to serve fans of football, baseball, hockey, basketball, lacrosse, soccer, golf, and, well, everything else that gets your heart pumping. Go to Fanatics.com by using the QR code on your screen right now to celebrate your teams. That's Fanatics.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader. Clean energy, bold flavors, and no jitters. See why people won't shut up about Dubby. Clean energy, no jitters or crash. Whether you're starting your workday or getting ready to exercise, Dubby Energy helps you lock in and focus. With over 15 flavors to choose from, you can't miss. Order W Energy right now by using the QR code on your screen and use the promo code InsideEdge10 to receive 10% off your order. W Energy, your energy-focused sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader. Find us on InsideEdgeNetwork.com for the latest information on your favorite shows, personalities, and network partners. Plus, guess what? We have a merch shop. That's right, we have network polos, t-shirts, champion jackets, hats, and bottles. Rep the network. Every purchase supports independent sports and entertainment media. Use the QR code on your screen right now to check out InsideEdgeNetwork.com. That's InsideEdgeNetwork.com. Mosser Moments Photography is a husband and wife wedding photography team based in Cleveland, owned and operated by Inside Edge Network's very own Ryan Mosser and his wife, Hallie. For the past 10 years, they've captured more than 100 weddings across Northeast Ohio and beyond, always working together as a true two-person team. Their style centers on authentic, emotional storytelling, documenting the real moments between two people in love and creating images that feel natural, comfortable, and true to the couple. Rooted in Northern Ohio but inspired by their travels, Ryan and Hallie bring a warm, personal approach to every wedding day. Their work blends experience, consistency, and a genuine passion for helping couples relive their best day through timeless photography. Learn more at MosserMomentsPhotography.com by using the QR code on your screen right now. MosserMomentsPhotography.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Chad, Brian, and Eli Moon. We are Inside Edge Primetime here on the Inside Edge Network, and we had a really, really fun show where we talked about not only Spurs and Knicks game 1, but on top of the Knicks doing something unthinkable when they came back again. Who would have saw that, right? They beat the Spurs 105-95. They're up 1-0 in the NBA Finals. And did you see that fan that rushed the court? Buddy, you chose the wrong guy to try to get a selfie with. Victor Wembanyama's a tall guy. Chad, we talked about that, but we also talked about the NBA commissioner, Adam Silver. He had some thoughts. It seemed like from tanking to a lot of other stuff.
Silver had plenty of thoughts. The direction that the NBA is headed in is, I think we both agree, pretty good, even though there might be some of the things we don't love about it, but I think they're doing the right thing business-wise. And Eli, what the heck is Jim Schwartz talking about? He finally speaks out after leaving the Browns in a huff, and he said a lot of things on a podcast that I just didn't make a lot of sense to me. Some of it sounded like lip service. You'll have to watch the show to check that out. I don't know, man.
Yeah. It was a fun Thursday show. Jim Schwartz, buddy, we hope you get some peace of mind now that you have made your decision. But yeah, crazy Thursday show. We're back with you tonight.
Small business owners are superheroes, but nowadays running your business means doing so inside your shop and on social media. That's why you should make Omega Video Marketing your sidekick. With a decade of content creation experience, I create dynamic, informative, and fun videos for your specific social needs that will increase brand awareness, get you more followers, and keep your social pages and websites current and fresh. I offer flexible pricing and turn times and will work with you to understand your brand and your story. All of that comes from the heart. My award-winning expertise is just the cherry on top. So let's get connected. After all, your brand is the alpha and my expertise is the omega.
Whether searching for a baseball autographed by your favorite World Series slugger, a signed football by an iconic Hall of Famer, or the jersey of a world-famous soccer star, you've come to the right place. Here at sportsmemorabilia.com, the web's leading source of authentic sports memorabilia, you'll find more than 500,000 authentic products from nearly every professional sports league, team, and players. Not only will you find your next prized sports possession with ease thanks to superb customer service and tremendous site experience, you'll have the satisfaction and peace of mind that every product listed comes complete with a certificate of authenticity and is fully backed by the sportsmemorabilia.com lifetime authenticity guarantee. Go to sportsmemorabilia.com by using the QR code on your screen right now. Sportsmemorabilia.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Podcast Network, Cleveland's digital leader.
Welcome back to the main event on the Inside Edge Net. I am Rob Rozycki. We got Eli Moon, Double A Anthony Alford, and a packed show. Even though we do have a packed show, gentlemen, It is not exactly great pickings right now on this Sunday night for live sports. I got Major League Rugby on, and I have a Freebirds with Jimmy Garvin match also on. We are slim pickings right now. I think the College World Baseball World Series is in rain delay right now, so kind of hurting here. But nonetheless, I think we're going to be able to trudge through here on this Sunday night.
Yeah, Miz got shocked by Danhausen's machine the other day on SmackDown, so that wasn't good either. Just not a good week for Cleveland, man. Not a good week
that's
for
okay.
Cleveland.
That's okay, Rob. This is how you're gonna get through the summer. You got to treat that Love Island USA show. You got to treat that like sports.
I saw you. Yeah, you've been popping in a lot with Jersey Chasers, I've noticed, on this whole Love Island thing. I haven't seen 2.5 seconds of it. What is this whole thing about, while I completely act like the gray beard that I have here?
Think of people looking for love, Temptation Island, and Survivor.
Yeah.
All of it in one. And it's every night except Wednesdays. It's every single night of competition to try to look for love, basically.
Okay, so how do you win Love Island?
You have to be you have to be the last couple standing, basically. But there's recoupling. There's so you have to prove that you're finding love and exploring other options.
Yeah.
Through every couple episodes, there's a new person that enters what they call the villa. So a new man, and then another episode, new woman, and it's just every other episode. It's just high stakes, and then if you are left single after an elimination episode, you're dumped and you're eliminated from the show. And tonight we had an elimination. I was getting tabs during the break on who got eliminated. I'm sure Kyle Cornell will have more on it tomorrow because this is his favorite contestant. But yes, we had an elimination tonight.
Am I the only one that's not watching this? Because the Jersey Chasers, you, Cornell. I understand watching Yankee baseball is kind of hurting right now, so he's watching something else. But
no. Kyle's not a fan of the show. I'll stick up for Kyle. Eli, you know why?
Yeah, and actually, I got the clip here. Rob, you know what? Usually we don't play a lot of clips here on the show. I'm going to go ahead and give you an idea into one of the contestants on Love Island.
Did you know that we're talking about Sean, who's one of the contestants on Love Island? He left his police job in some community in
Bethlehem, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, PA. Left town to be a contestant on Love Island. Did you know? I don't know if you were going to get to it. He has a 2-year-old son.
So I already lost respect for the dude for leaving a very good job that pays well, that requires effort that's needed. We need more officers to go do a reality show where you could be gone in 2 weeks, essentially, right? Or is there a time frame where you stay longer?
No. Here's the kicker: he could be eliminated, but he has to. Every contestant has to stay there, either on the show or in a hotel until the season's over.
So even if you get eliminated,
he's still there.
Fucking idiot.
He's going to be there until the end of July.
The Side Hustle Wrestling Podcast every Friday at 5 a.m. here on the Inside Edge Network. Rob, that's Sean. He was a cop. And
from what Double A is inferring, he was a contestant on Love Island too.
Correct.
Okay, yeah, I didn't know if Double A was just about to drop the bombshell out here. I don't know what the etiquette of Love Island eliminations are, but
it's live. That's why the whole premise, you got to treat it like sports. Like you got to have stats. Like there's a contestant, KC, who had a terrible showing at episode number 1, but his last 3 episodes, he's putting on like MJ like performances. He's now the favorite to win the show.
Rozycki, I want you to know something. Me and Chad and I had to do Inside Edge Primetime. We had the pleasure of doing Inside Edge Primetime after that on one continuous stream. Usually we were 10 to 11. We were 11 o'clock that night. And some of the quotes from our bro we've known for over a decade. Turtle tongue and the neck is the on a live shot. If you catch my drift, it's I was learning a lot about our bro, Double A.
They did a door wall challenge.
Did not need to know some of these things, Double A. Look,
and the dude put the woman, it was consensual, boom, on the wall and kissed her neck very passionately. I'll keep it family friendly, but yes. Yeah,
I thought that watching, Michael P.S. Hayes and Jimmy Garvin wearing eyeshadow wrestling a match in 1990 was going to be the weirdest ass thing on my television set today.
Welcome to Love Island.
You got you have Peacock. Yeah, but watch tomorrow or watch whenever. When we're done with the show tonight, pop on tonight's episode.
I'm not gonna lie.
You'll be intrigued.
Papa Moon, not to interrupt you, double, but you got Papa Moon all intrigued because he's sitting here, we're surfing through. He's like, man, there's no NHL Stanley Cup on the night. There's no NBA Finals. He goes, well, we are about 5 episodes behind on the new season of Love Island. Should we give the show a chance? And I was like, he's like, Jersey Chasers and AA really sold me on it. Like, they need to do another episode, watch along. So, I mean, if that's, first off, we need more programming on Love Island, obviously, sounds like. And two, Papa Moon is already an avid reality show guy. And he was like, do we watch it? I'm like, Pops, look, man, I'm really not in the mood for love right now. I don't give a shit about Love Island. And I know we're going to do another episode, but me personally, I'm cool. I'm cool about Sean and Casey and AC and DC. And all right, back to you, Rob.
All right, that concludes this week's edition of I'm Sorry I Asked. This is the main event here on the Inside Edge Net. We have Moon, we have Anthony Alford, I'm Rob Rozycki, and that has been our Love Island. No, I'm not watching that. And if I do watch it, it's going to be a live reaction shot of me watching this. Like, it will only be for content.
I will say very briefly because I know we got to get.
Now we want to do Survivor stuff. Yeah, I'll get involved with the season of Survivor, no problem.
Pretty much it's kind of like Survivor.
Double A,
kind of like Survivor. You got to survive a lot of kissing and
the turtle tongues and
turtle tongues. You got to survive. Like, that's not easy.
I like Love Is Blind. That was my favorite one. That was when they didn't get to see each other. Right? You know what I'm talking about? When they don't see each other and they talk to each other and they're like, oh, you're the one because I have so much in common. And then they see the person like, oh, maybe love isn't blind, baby. I don't know.
Yeah, I felt bad for some of the people doing that. Like, that's like you got to be in a spot. I think personally to put your romantic and relationship futures up on the television for America to see and be that vulnerable just to score a date with a hot chick.
Dude, I might be a winner on that show, though. I'm not gonna lie. I could probably do well on that show.
I would not.
Because
I have to actually pay attention to the conversations. I'm good.
Yeah.
I think, Moon, in any situation that you could just be in a position to throw out line after line of absolute bullshit without any sort of check or balance on said bullshit, I think you'll be good.
Look, man, I'll bring a character to the show. Follow the life and times of Eli Moon.
Oh, jeez.
No, I mean, we'll put that in the hopper, and maybe we'll get that development if we start doing a reality TV at the Inside Edge Net.
Yes.
But yes, that was our Love Island moment here. And again, I'm sorry, I started this up with Major League Rugby, but here we go.
And you thought that was the craziest shit we were about to talk about this segment.
Yeah, I have, and again, I've been watching this for a minute now. I really don't know the rules all that much. I'm there's a lot of people hitting people, and nobody really seems to care. Like, no one's getting hurt.
Hey, Bowling Green was one of the top schools for years of rugby.
Yeah, well, I think that had to do with the massive amount of alcohol consumption that was happening on campus too.
Hey, whatever gets the job done, top 5 status.
I mean, yeah.
Go ahead, Rizik.
Dude, we got to talk about Trump, man, at the Knicks game.
Yeah, I mean, we were having a good time. Let's just bring that down a little bit now. Yeah, we have a situation. We talked about the NBA Finals from a basketball standpoint last segment. This time around, though, it's a little bit different. I'm sure it has not been a secret. Donald Trump is planning on attending Game 3 of the NBA Finals at Madison Square Garden. And quite frankly, in a town that hasn't really liked him for about 30 years, he's making situations a lot worse. We're finding out that we're dealing with a TSA level security protocol for fans who want to pay the thousands of dollars to get into MSG. We might be able to talk about that later too. But in addition to the huge ticket prices, you are now dealing with airport travel screening security procedures. There are no watch parties happening outside the stadium in front of MSG itself. And it seems like New Yorkers and Knicks fans especially do not have any time for a sitting president, especially this sitting president, to come on in and jack up a party that they have been waiting 27 years for.
I think sports fans are just typically, people in general, I think are tired of the way a lot of things are going. And, and I'm not going to get super political because that's typically not how I roll. But what I will say
Me neither.
Yeah. Rozycki, I love you. Jeez almighty.
I'll wait for your analysis. I love Island and Rob.
Yeah. My thing with just keeping it sports based for a minute, because I could go off on a tangent. I will stay to just the sports side of things. We've talked about it on this show, I think a month ago, with the UFC 250 card, with everything going on, that President Trump's just spent too much time in the sports realm. From the UFC card to other things, and the NIL discussion we've had before, where it went to court, federal court with NIL talk. Just a bunch of stuff, and I feel like this is fatigue. For one thing, fatigue on hey, if you've seen the New York Knicks fans, there was like 3,000 of them after the San Antonio Spurs lost on their home floor in Game 2. Inside the NBA was like, dude, we can't hear any of each other because these Knicks fans are still chanting. So they're already having a run, and a very memorable run. And I think this kind of I don't know, it first off takes away from what they're doing. I won't say it takes away, because not from, I think, any of us or anything, but it does now create a spotlight where now the discussion is not just about the New York Knicks, and it's not just about Danhausen and neon cursing and all this. Now it's about, okay, Trump's going to the game. Okay, we're going to make a spectacle of it. Okay, this and that. And I think people are just tired of him inserting himself in every single thing that exists in this country, and I get he's the president, but when's enough? Why can't you just allow the New York Knicks fan base to have their moment? And, we could talk about ticket prices later. That's a different discussion. It is absurd, but it's also New York. It's insane still. But I'm just think people are tired on a sports realm and in a real life realm, everything, of just having to deal with politics. And I know politics are more human nature than they've ever been, maybe 40, 50 years ago, when, my dad was a young child. They weren't discussed as much. It was more so, okay, what do you think our tax money should be spent and stuff? Now it's like a love versus hate type of thing. And it's so much human nature that's why it's polarizing. And obviously there's no secret on how people feel one way or the other about President Trump. So I think that also factored in. It's a polarizing figure, and it's somebody that's already inserted themselves so much into a realm that they really don't belong in. He's already put himself in the was it USFL that completely fell flat on its face? I can't think of the.
Yeah, that was long before he was president. That was in the early 80s. That was actually him and that was New Jersey Generals.
Yeah, I'm just saying in general, he's already and put himself in the sports world, and obviously it didn't work out when you're in charge there. So, dude, just let the New York Knicks fans have their moment. That's my take. I don't have too much else, but Double A, I hand it off to you.
I think in this case too, because I mentioned to you guys when we were discussing about bringing up this topic, I'm like, well, what would have happened in 2016 for us if it was? And we could pick two events: the NBA Finals and the World Series in 2016. If the city of Cleveland said, "Hey, we can't do anything outside of, at Gateway, nothing," because the sitting president, whoever,
Obama,
Obama at the time, he's coming to the game, and we have to have it cleared out. How would we have felt as fans? How would we have felt as fans if that was a Game 7?
Right.
Of, again, either series in the NBA Finals or the World Series. And I know things didn't turn out well in terms of the game with the World Series, but Eli, we'll never forget being down there. My brother was down there, and a lot of other people were down there.
That was the saddest slice of pizza I've ever had in my life.
It was at the end, but the vibes going into
Where'd
the
you
game,
get it from?
during the game, and then Rajay Davis. We wouldn't have the Rajay Davis moment outside of Progressive Field if the sitting president, back then would have been Obama, of course, if the sitting president was present at the game. So I do think just taking away something that the fans have worked very hard to have this moment. You don't know how many Knicks games, finals games they're going to have. And again, who's to say? I know it's reported that Trump may not go to game 4, but what if he changes his mind and says he is going to game 4? What if the series goes to, what if it goes to game 6 and Trump goes to game 6? So, yeah, this is one of those things where no matter where you stand politically, you're taking away something that is very, very special to fans. And it's not like New York is in the finals every single year.
First time since 99.
Yeah, this is not a Golden State Warriors situation like, oh, this is year 4 of us being here. No, this is a generational run here. So, yeah, I really
even take it a step further on the length of it. The last day when before the Knicks won game 1 of this series, the last day the Knicks had a lead in the NBA Finals was June 12th, 1995. And I know the date because it was the White Bronco game. That's how long it's been since these guys were in a position like this. Since OJ and Al Collins went for the joyride into Brentwood. But I'll try to look at this at least at first, apolitically. Because I think if anybody who's been listening to the show regularly kind of knows where I don't think lean is the best word. Probably fall over would be a better word. But there's a reason why Trump is the first president to go to an event like this. He's the first sitting president to go to an NBA Finals game. And we've seen presidents maybe here and there make appearances at football games. Actually, I think Trump was the first sitting president to go to an NFL game.
I think you're right about that. I think it was the Commanders last year or 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And there's a reason typically why guys don't do that, and it is because of the stuff we're talking about. It's a security concern. There's a reason why Ronald Reagan, who was president of the Screen Actors Guild in his own right back in the day, never went to the Oscars, because they weren't going to be able to take the president to the Oscars. It would have been easier to take the Oscars to the president.
Right.
So and that's typically and then you see what George Bush doing the 9/11 stuff. It was 9/11, and B, there's been documentaries made about the security protocols that had to go through for him to be able to throw the first pitch out in Baltimore. So, there's a reason why a sitting president typically doesn't do this. Now, Trump's not a typical sitting president. I think we've all known this. He's doing this right now. You guys remember the term sports washing, right? We were talking about that a lot with Saudi Arabia and getting into live, and even in the fight game and horse racing and a lot of American sports. They were using sports to kind of make themselves a baby face, kind of make themselves seem like, hey, we're just your quirky little neighbor that does stuff differently than you do. Trump's doing that in his own way. He's sports washing his image. He's been able to get away with it with the UFC, especially because, Dana White is, 2 feet away from Donald Trump on all this stuff. They're peas in a pod. And that was honestly the nicest way I can say that.
Very proud of you, buddy.
But he's been able to get away with that in the UFC because that's in his demographic, that's in his voter base, and I know Moon, I'm not trying to put you in there. I know you're a fight fan, but you got to admit that the fight fan 7 times out of 10 is typically leaning towards MAGA and the Trump side. So it's a friend.
I would lower that percentage.
Yeah, I would definitely disagree with that. Just because the president that faces, I mean, that's to classify a wide range of fans. I understand what you're saying with white.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to insult anybody. I'm just if I'm wrong, let me know.
Yeah, you're good. I would just say there's definitely a wider range. You got to remember also MMA is like countrywide too. Like there's a lot of guys in the UFC that don't care for the acting president, or the president of the UFC and I guess the United States.
Now, if you're referring to some of the celebrities that attend some of those shows,
yeah, but also too, you even look at the stuff that Sean Strickland's gotten away with. I know he's actually barred from the White House over the Israel comments, which who knew? and a few of the other fighters, Colby,
Colby Covington.
Yeah, those kind of guys have gone out and said what they've said, and they really haven't gotten punished by Dana White, which has kind of given them a green light. And I think at least if, okay, maybe not all fight fans are MAGA, but I think a typical MAGA person knows they can find a friendly audience in that sport. But,
I get that. I get what you're saying there.
And also, too, he's now a shareholder in TKO. He is now a shareholder in UFC along with WWE. So it is a friendly environment. You cannot say any of that about New York City. They hate him so much. He is now a legal resident of Florida. The relationship with Trump and that city has been tumultuous long before he was president. This is not even just a modern political thing. It exacerbated itself in modern politics, but they have never really liked Donald Trump for 30 years. Basketball anyway, if you look at the political perception of the fan base, where if you perceive the UFC as leaning right, you will perceive the NBA as leaning left. It's in New York City, which doesn't lean left. They elected a fucking Democratic socialist as mayor. That's how left they are. So it's not a good situation. He's gotten away with it with the UFC and maybe the NFL and some other stuff to kind of make himself look cooler and make himself look a little bit more like an everyday American to his base. I don't think he's going to be able to get through that and be able to do that in New York. And God forbid, if the Knicks do snap that 13-game losing streak, if they lose the first finals game played at MSG in this millennia, with him in the house, the reaction from Knicks fans, who, let's face it, are not exactly known as the most stable individuals to begin with, when not even political, we're just talking ball. Their reaction to losing that game with Trump in there might make January 6th look like a game of laser tag at a 13-year-old birthday party. I could see the city not handling that one well at all.
I think it'll be interesting. I mean, when you're talking about, just him being there and stuff, I mean, you're going to have to see pretty much what happened. And will he still go through with it too? Remember too, at MSG tomorrow, it's a strict no bag policy.
Oh yeah, no bags too. Yeah,
no bags.
I mean,
no nothing. So if you're just showing up,
unless the bag, unless it's the bag that Jalen Brunson's going to earn. Yeah.
I mean, you do have that. I mean, but it
no bags, TSA level checks. You got to get there 2 hours before. No watch parties. They're making it and then you got the $3,000, $5,000, $10,000 ticket prices that are making it a very hard game to go to.
I will say this too, though, because the Knicks is the one situation where typically you have celebrities there, or at least Spike Lee there almost every game. Like
Chalamet's there, Stiller's there, yeah, Tracy Morgan's there.
Shouldn't they have? I'm not saying like presidential level security, but shouldn't they already have a high level of security at their games anyway? At least they can handle a little bit more of the protocol. I know it's a little
I'll
bit
plug a podcast outside the Inside Edge net. Pablo Torre did a hell of a deal. I think he's now too deep into the security protocols at MSG about how they are too crazy. We're talking about facial recognition. We're talking about being able to track individual fans minute to minute, shot to shot, whatever here. They went through, there was a fan who was in attendance that was labeled as a threat or whatever. And they had her itinerary down to the second of her entire experience at MSG. So yeah, they're used to security up there.
So I think they'll be okay. This is more so of a strong inconvenience, as a fan, for the reasons we all have mentioned. I'm sure New Yorkers, they're going to probably wake up tomorrow morning and say, man, I hope he doesn't go through with it. I would like to be, downtown. And it's not like you're not going to be able to find other places to watch the games. I mean, on top of all this, on top of everything else, the tickets are too effing expensive anyway to go. Like if the Cavs ever get back to the finals, there's no effing way I would be able to afford to attend an NBA Finals game in the first place.
No, the only way we'd ever go is if we were credentialed or we won a contest.
Yeah, that's it. If I'm lucky, I'll be able to watch from the parking garage next door. I mean, or something like that. Like, are you kidding me? So yeah, I mean, it's already a high level type of situation, and I mean, who would be able to fit in that watch party in the first place? Like, you got to wait just to get in that watch party outside of MSG.
They've been packed, man. They've been absolutely packed.
Yeah, they're going to be packed. You better lock in. But you're gonna have me rooting for the Knicks, man. You know, my family. I didn't tell you guys this. You know, I had a family outing yesterday.
Yeah.
All of my cousins, my family, they're all rooting for the Knicks. I was stunned.
I kind of am too. I actually.
Oh no,
Really?
I'm Spurs. I am Spurs.
I mean like almost everyone is saying they're rooting for the Knicks.
Two reasons. I don't blame New York for us being shitty in the Eastern Conference Finals. Like I don't hold that against them and our exit at all. I hold that against us. And the other thing is too, is just watching Brunson and Towns and all of these, young, scrappy spare parts that nobody wanted. I mean, dude, the Mavericks have to be kicking themselves right now. They had Brunson and fucking Doncic on the same team and let Brunson walk for nothing. Sacramento's got to be killing themselves right now. They had De'Aaron Fox and Mike Brown out there. Champagne for the Spurs. I mean, throwing it on his side here. He was a spare piece that Philadelphia cut.
Yeah.
But you look at New York. They've had to trade for all these guys. They were trash. They were discarded pieces, and somehow they've made it work. And watching this run kind of happen, and really do like New York, and I know, I was looking at a clip of me about a couple of weeks ago before the Knicks series even started talking shit on the Mecca of basketball. But if you take all the New York crap out of it, they're the Browns. They're in a town that claims they founded the sport. They haven't won anything in any recent memory. It's been 50 plus years. It's 60 for the Browns. So, like, watching New York kind of get swept up in this wave, I'm getting a little, sentimental and just, enjoying that ride too. And watching a city that hasn't won a title in 50 years on the one team that it seems like every New Yorker can agree on. Just watching these guys go ballistic over this is something to be seen. It is an amazing thing to watch.
That was a very nice story, Rob. And you know what? My heart goes out to the New York Knicks and their fan base. That is so.
See, this is the tone of voice you use right before you shit on something.
I don't care, brother. I don't care about it's been since '99. Okay, it's been since forever since we've been to a Super Bowl as Browns fans. Okay, like
they haven't won a title since '73. By the way, the last time the Knicks won the title, less than a year later, the corrupt Republican president had to resign in disgrace. So another reason to hope for the Knicks to win this thing.
I'm just saying. I get the comparison, but I don't know. I'm rooting for the Spurs here. I got a lot of peeps out there in San Antonio. I consider family out there on the music side that I've done shows with. They treat me well out there, my guys. So I'm rooting for them, man. Because I got on the phone with my guy Devontae before game one. He's like, dude, Eli, ESPN's here, like Spike Lee's here, like he was just so hyped. And that city loves their Spurs, man. And that's they everywhere.
Okay, you're bitching about New York and everything like that. It's been such a long gap for the Spurs fans. They have suffered so much the last 5 years where they haven't been elite in the NBA. They've gone straight from David Robinson into Tim Duncan and now Victor Wembanyama. Their next big guy is being born right now, and he'll be a superstar in 2045.
Let me be clear.
Oh my God, the poor Spurs fans.
I'm not saying it's necessarily poor Spurs fans for the championships, but what I am saying is a combination of New York does this to themselves, and they have multiple teams damn near in every sport. So they have just as much, if not a better chance to get a championship in that city than other cities. And the fact that San Antonio treats me well, and I got fam there. So that's how
okay, I get that. I get that.
That's how I made my decision.
Hold up. I got Eli. Weren't you the same person that picked the Giants and the Jets to go far in the playoffs this upcoming
I
year.
didn't say I would be.
Yeah,
happy
your
about
ass is
it.
going to have to cash that check.
You're talking about.
I
New York.
didn't say I would be happy about it. Let's be very clear. But sometimes you're not happy about things that happen. Double A, weren't you the one that did an AI prediction with Shedeur Sanders leading the Browns to a first-round playoff victory on Midnight Run Friday? So
I
let's
did.
be careful.
Okay,
did.
Double
I
A's
like
in
what I
Cleveland.
saw.
He can be a homer for Cleveland and be fine with it. But right
I'm
now,
not
it seems
being a
like you're on
homer.
WFAN.
No,
I'm not
I
being a
did. I was
homer.
perfectly fine with what I saw.
I don't agree. I'm not like, oh goodness, I can't wait to go get my Abdul Carter Giants jersey, or I'm not excited about any of that, or the Jets. I'm not excited.
We're going to get
that
your
it's gonna
Harbaugh
happen.
khakis rocking here.
I'm not excited that it's gonna happen. I'm just saying, like, it's gonna happen. Like, you know, and if you don't believe me, believe TK Dandridge here on the Inside Edge Network. He's doubling down with me, man. And like,
I'll talk to TK.
yeah,
I'll
well,
talk to
hey,
TK.
I'm just saying, look, fellas,
Okay,
I
you
don't.
guys are mounting a hell of an argument about how we need to start drug testing here on the Inside Edge Net. Like, that's just where we're at this point.
You don't want to do that, buddy. Huh?
yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. And we have completely brand new faces here on the Inside Edge Network.
We don't have a
Come
whole
on.
new lineup.
Nah, we fine.
Yeah, dude.
No, I saw Pac-Man Jones give his plan about how to get out of tests, so I think we'll be okay. And you know, Pac-Man does it. The success rate's 100%. So
Ain't that the truth?
Well. Yeah. So game 3 tomorrow.
But Eli, you know people from San Antonio.
Yeah.
You have
Like,
actual connection, right?
Yeah,
But
like
I
legit
will.
peeps.
My cousins did bring up what Rob was talking about. It's just like, you know, the Spurs have struggled for a decade. I mean, it's kind of
quite
like
honestly,
the Patriots.
quite honestly, too, as a Cavs fan, with bitching about a team for the entire last couple of years that doesn't have the metal, that doesn't have that killer instinct. I'm watching New York basketball, and it's fun because every single one of those guys would stomp on your throat at the end of a game, and do. Jalen Brunson's the best closer in the sport, and watching a team that and I'm trying not to disrespect the Cavaliers, but I am. You know, a team that actually does have a backbone is really fun to watch.
I mean, yeah, it's crazy to think. My final point on this, I know we're going to go to break. My final point on this is, think about this. Mike Brown, if he gets 2 more wins here, will win a championship without LeBron James before the Cavaliers organization wins a championship without LeBron James, which is crazy to think, because I guess I'm just reflecting on 07 and 09 and those chances we had.
Well, and Mike Brown, to my final point, what is a 19-year gap between, you know, the 07 NBA Finals with the Cavs and Spurs?
Yeah.
And you look at that lineup. How in the world did LeBron carry that lineup into the finals? Mike Brown made it happen. And then
hey, Big Z, man. Big Z.
Well, I mean, you're seeing.
You're right. I'll give Big Z the credit he deserves. Absolutely.
Well, you're not giving Damon Jones any respect, but he's behind bars, so it is what it is. But yeah, you look at that same kind of philosophy that Brown was using, though, with and LeBron kind of masked everything, and LeBron stole the attention for sure. But it was hey, if we can make this game the first one to 88 points, we'll win this. Like, if we could just muck this thing up defensively and slow this thing down and grind it to a halt, we'll have a chance. Now, it didn't work with the Spurs, Manu and Duncan and Parker. It wasn't going to happen. But, with that roster, they did what they were kind of doing. That it's the same thing, with maybe a little bit more of a better supporting cast is what, they're kind of doing with Mike Brown. But yeah, this is the Inside Edge Net main event. We got Double A, we got Moon. I am Rob. We're about at the halfway point here of this extravaganza. We got, I don't know if you guys heard about this at all this week, but the Browns traded Myles Garrett.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Wait, where?
To the City of Angels. I saw him throw about a 90-mile-an-hour strike. That's a ceremonial first pitch at a Dodger game.
The
first time I ever felt
though.
bad for a catcher in that situation.
The fit was tough, Rozycki. You got to be honest. The fit was tough.
I already saw him in a commercial too.
Yeah, the fit was tough. I can't even be. All right.
Well, and we'll get into Myles Garrett and this whole thing, because it feels almost like Cleveland Brown fan just got through a breakup and is now watching the ex living their best life out in the City of Angels. Yeah, we're a few days out after this. We'll get everybody's kind of reaction now that the dust has settled and we're not throwing anything anymore and sitting in bewildered shock. But we'll have that. We'll have news and notes to figure out what the hell we've learned over the last 7 days, and then get you going on your way for the rest of your weekend and start of your week. This is the main event on the Inside Edge Net. We got Moon AA. I'm Rob. We'll be right back.
Hey guys, awesome episode of Unfiltered today. Talked about a bunch of different things, including the first energy scandal. We've got some more indictments that came down. And Jake Underwood talked about what he would do with the lakefront property now that the Browns are moving over to Brook Park. As for tomorrow's show on your Friday, new drug making the rounds that's a little more concerning than fentanyl. Believe it or not, we'll talk about that. And President Trump going to be attending an NBA Finals game. We'll tell you which one and if it's a good idea. Right here on Unfiltered, 5 p.m. all along the Inside Edge Network. I'll see you on Friday.
Small business owners are superheroes, but nowadays running your business means doing so inside your shop and on social media. That's why you should make Omega Video Marketing your sidekick. With a decade of content creation experience, I create dynamic, informative, and fun videos for your specific social needs that will increase brand awareness, get you more followers, and keep your social pages and websites current and fresh. I offer flexible pricing and turn times and will work with you to understand your brand and your story. All of that comes from the heart. My award-winning expertise is just the cherry on top. So let's get connected. After all, your brand is the alpha and my expertise is the omega.
Discover our collection of body mists made with clean, minimal ingredients. Handcrafted with natural essential oils and clean ingredients, they offer a natural alternative to synthetic fragrances. Perfect for sensitive skin and those seeking clean, mindful self-care, and the perfect gift for you or your special someone. Courtesy of Alley Rose Fragrances. First-time customers, use that promo code InsideEdge20 to receive 20% off your order. AlleyRoseFragrances.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader.
And we thank you for your support of the Inside Edge Network. And don't miss my show, Midnight Run, right here on the Inside Edge Network. You won't miss a single episode when you like and subscribe at Inside Edge Net.
Whether searching for a baseball autographed by your favorite World Series slugger, a signed football by an iconic Hall of Famer, or the jersey of a world-famous soccer star, you've come to the right place. Here at sportsmemorabilia.com, the web's leading source of authentic sports memorabilia, you'll find more than 500,000 authentic products from nearly every professional sports league, team, and players. Not only will you find your next prized sports possession with ease thanks to superb customer service and tremendous site experience, you'll have the satisfaction and peace of mind that every product listed comes complete with a certificate of authenticity and is fully backed by the sportsmemorabilia.com lifetime authenticity guarantee. Go to sportsmemorabilia.com by using the QR code on your screen right now. Sportsmemorabilia.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Podcast Network, Cleveland's digital leader. Moser Moments Photography is a husband and wife wedding photography team based in Cleveland, owned and operated by Inside Edge Network's very own Ryan Moser and his wife, Hallie. For the past 10 years, they've captured more than 100 weddings across Northeast Ohio and beyond, always working together as a true two-person team. Their style centers on authentic, emotional storytelling, documenting the real moments between two people in love and creating images that feel natural, comfortable, and true to the couple. Rooted in Northern Ohio but inspired by their travels, Ryan and Hallie bring a warm, personal approach to every wedding day. Their work blends experience, consistency, and a genuine passion for helping couples relive their best day through timeless photography. Learn more at MoserMomentsPhotography.com by using the QR code on your screen right now. MoserMomentsPhotography.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader. Clean energy, bold flavors, and no jitters. See why people won't shut up about Dubby. Clean energy, no jitters or crash. Whether you're starting your workday or getting ready to exercise, Dubby Energy helps you lock in and focus. With over 15 flavors to choose from, you can't miss. Order Dubby Energy right now by using the QR code on your screen and use the promo code InsideEdge10 to receive 10% off your order. Dubby Energy, your energy-focused sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader. Find us on InsideEdgeNetwork.com for the latest information on your favorite shows, personalities, and network partners. Plus, guess what? We have a merch shop. That's right, we have network polos, t-shirts, champion jackets, hats, and bottles. Rep the network. Every purchase supports independent sports and entertainment media. Use the QR code on your screen right now to check out InsideEdgeNetwork.com. That's InsideEdgeNetwork.com. Fanatics isn't just our name, it's who we are. Loyal, passionate fans dedicated to our favorite teams and to the sports we love. That's why we're honored to be able to offer fans the world's largest collection of official sports apparel and sports jerseys from all leagues, teams, and players you love. We feature a wide selection of gear from every league, including the NFL, MLB, NBA, NHL, and NCAA merchandise, which allows us to serve fans of football, baseball, hockey, basketball, lacrosse, soccer, golf, and, well, everything else that gets your heart pumping. Go to Fanatics.com by using the QR code on your screen right now to celebrate your teams. That's Fanatics.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader.
Welcome back to the main event here on the Inside Edge Net. I am Rob Rozycki. We got Double A Anthony Alford, Eli Moon. Second half of the show. First half has been basketball, and the president. And now we'll shift a little bit over to the gridiron. Obviously, we were joking about it in the closeout of last segment. Myles Garrett, that is the alpha and omega of news here in Cleveland around football, which is weird because it takes a hell of a story to knock off anything going on with the Browns quarterback situation. But Myles Garrett traded earlier this week. Very surprising on the timing, kind of a shock deal to the fans. I think we all kind of knew something could be in the works. Me personally, I was thinking that if anything was going to happen, it was going to be like around the time Micah Parsons was traded last year, right at the beginning of the season. But nonetheless, Myles Garrett goes to the Los Angeles Rams, who were, before the trade, the odds-on favorite to win the Super Bowl. They are still there, by the way. And Cleveland gets back a first-round pick this year, a second-round pick next year, and the third-round pick 2 years from now, along with Jared Verse, a young up-and-coming pass rusher, two-time Pro Bowler, first-round pick. By all accounts, a great young player. Gentlemen, I know you guys have been growing up on Browns football all of your lives and have a little bit more emotion with this trade. Now that the dust has settled, now that the initial shock has gone away, how are you feeling now about the Browns moving on from probably not probably the best defensive player of his generation?
Yeah, I mean, now that I've had a few weeks to process it, or a few weeks, feels like a few days to process it. I'm okay with it. At first, and we did coverage here, as soon as it broke here on the network, and all throughout the day, and all throughout the week here on the Inside Edge Network, and I still felt like it wasn't the strongest of returns, but then I sat here and just thought about it. I said, and as the week went on, I kept telling different points about coming around on this trade. Like, okay, Jared Verse would have commanded 2 first-round picks on the open market. 2024 Defensive Rookie of the Year, as Rob mentioned, 2-time Pro Bowler. I mean, a strong player on the defense side of the football for the Rams, especially in playoff runs. But I just had those worries. Like, did they get enough, man? You don't get a Myles Garrett every 5-6 years. It's very rare, especially, of his stature, Hall of Famer, first ballot Hall of Famer, whenever he decides to retire, single season sack record, all that. All that to be said, I'm okay with it now. And I started coming around on it because I'm like, okay, Jared Verse is good. First off, I never thought Jared Verse wasn't good. I think people being like, well, Jared Verse, haven't done their homework on Jared Verse. He's a very talented player. He's going to be Myles Garrett. Even he said he's not looking to be Myles Garrett. He's looking to be Jared Verse. Myles wears Nikes. He wears Jordans, as he said. So they have a completely different mindset when it comes to, what they're trying to shape Jared Verse into. They just wanted to be a contributor on defense and ultimately help out guys like 2025 Defensive Rookie of the Year, Carson Schwessinger, and some of these other guys that stand out. So I'm okay with Jared Verse being the main piece. And I think it's interesting, Mary Kay Cabot reported that, hey, the 29 third turns into a first rounder if the Rams trade Myles Garrett back to the AFC North. Some interesting things there. However, the real reason I've come to cope with this now is really Denzel Ward and Carson Schlesinger. But Denzel Ward, jokes aside about the celebrity softball game that a lot of people would not have got perfect attendance for in school if they were counting it that way, because a lot of people didn't show up. But let's just get into Denzel Ward itself, himself, the player, right? He spoke about, hey, when it comes to Myles, you're either, there was a quote out there, you're either with us or against us. Carson Schlesinger, they asked him, yeah, it was news, they had to be broke, but I was working on my slice, my golf swing. Like, when I've heard these guys that are not just like your random defensive lineman, all due respect to Michael Hall and some of these other guys, but when it's Denzel Ward, who has been here almost as long as Myles Garrett has. He was drafted after him, and he was a top 5
keep in mind,
pick.
too, that he played at Ohio State, went to high school in Cleveland. He is a Northeast Ohio dude. So
Right, 100%. But in the Ohio thing, definitely valid. But what I'm more so saying is Myles Garrett has talked about how he's tired of not getting the help and all this other stuff, and now he's all smiles in Los Angeles, and he showed up at OTAs, and I know Cleveland media was losing their minds. All that to be said, Denzel Ward's gone through damn near all the same stuff Myles Garrett has, let alone 1 year. So Denzel Ward saying what he said, and pretty much planting his flag in the ground and going, I'm going to be here until somebody says they don't want me here, basically. I think that's really going to help a lot of Clevelanders cope over the fact that Myles Garrett is gone. I think that, plus all the other antics, the OTA, him showing up at OTAs, which I don't care about, to be honest. What's he going to do? Not show up at OTAs for the Rams? That would look kind of silly. But, he showed up at OTAs. He's throwing the first pitch out, all that other stuff. I know people are still going to be upset. I'm okay, AA. I'm okay now. I'm just trying to see what Jared Verse develops into. He's 25 years old, and now you just look to see what the Browns do with 2 first-round picks. This year, they maximize. They got a lineman. They got a receiver like everybody asked for. Maybe Andrew Berry is learning. I know that I could really get burned for saying that, but maybe Andrew Berry is learning.
I
I know.
My bad.
No,
I did not mean that.
It felt weird
That was a
saying
slip
that.
up.
It felt weird
slip up.
saying that.
No.
Well, if you practice anything enough times, you're bound to get better at it.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Unless it's golf.
My apologies. I did not mean to do that. That was
whatever. I'll see you on Midnight Run tomorrow, buddy. You be careful.
My
You be
bad,
careful.
man. Listen, I do agree with everything you said. Big picture, it's going to all depend on how he looks when he's on the field. And, of course, we're not going to be able to judge the picks until the picks actually happen. I will say, though, you would have got a bigger return if you would have traded Myles Garrett a year ago. But I think the only other thing, though, you see when someone is unhappy, you see their actions. And then when they're somewhere else and you see that they're very, very happy somewhere else, that's telling too. That does hurt.
Well, it's also the new car smell over there. Like, he hasn't had a chance to have the baggage yet. It's always great when you walk in at first.
But it's one of those things, too, to add on. It's one of those things where, you could be happy everywhere, except where you need, home, right? Except at the Browns facility and all that stuff. But then everywhere else, you're good to go. I guess, too, as a fan, I'd much rather for Myles Garrett to be a part of a winner, a guarantee winner, before his career ends up. Because, listen, I love Joe Thomas. I think of the world of Joe Thomas in his football career. But me personally, I would have loved for him to go to Denver that final season. To Denver. It hurts me that we could not put together a winner for Joe Thomas. And I would have felt bad if Myles Garrett, if his career would have ended up being the same. So, hey, if he ends up winning a championship for the Los Angeles Rams, I'll be happy for him. I will be happy for him. And I can't even say, Robert Eli, that Myles Garrett slacked off last season. He only broke a single season sack record. So it's not like, not like he complained and then sat out and did nothing. He still worked his behind off. So good luck to him. Seriously.
Well, and that's why, like, I wouldn't say, he didn't want to be here. I'd say he was indifferent. I would say he's just here doing his job. He's getting paid to do this. He's going to do it to the best of his ability. And yeah, that's where you get the not showing up to OTAs, being distant from the team whenever it's off season kind of behavior. But where I'm at with the trade itself, okay, I think they got enough back. I think the first round pick's going to help out. I think Jared Verse matches up with the timeline of those young players that you're talking about, the Schlesingers of the world. He's now a third year pro. Yeah, he's new to the team, but he's automatically a veteran presence on that defense comparatively. So, yeah, and it's going to work out well if the Browns are good in 3-4 years. He'll be in the middle of his second contract. He'll still be in his physical prime. Where I'm disappointed with the trade is just the whole body of work. You talk about Joe Thomas not having a winner here and not having a chance to play meaningful football. This closes the chapter on that. Back-to-back first overall picks the Browns had. Baker Mayfield, Myles Garrett. And you ultimately did nothing with both of those players. And really the reason why you had to get rid of Myles was because you have done nothing. You mismanaged this situation, be it Deshaun Watson, be it bad draft picks before Deshaun, be it, just general incompetency from the head coaching position over the last few years. You have mismanaged this franchise enough where you can't have nice things, where you have players who are too good for your team. The Browns built that up. And it's why that they are where they're at. It's why they had to trade Myles Garrett. Okay, cool. You got your first round pick and your premier pass rusher. That makes the future look bright. And I'm not saying the future isn't bright. But the past, though, this is a reminder that the past 7-8 years has just absolutely been a clinical, complete, textbook letdown of a football franchise and how not to manage back-to-back years of the number one overall pick. How many teams can say that? And then how many teams can say they did nothing with those picks? Because ultimately they picked they picked the best pass rusher in the NFC West, and they also picked Tampa Bay starting quarterback.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you this. One thing they did do, Rozycki, before I know we're all taking jazz at the Browns. They did beat the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2020 in the NFL playoffs. So we always can hang our hats on that, and we want more and all that jazz. But all joking aside.
Yeah, well, you guys learned that Kevin Stefanski was most effective when he wasn't in the building.
We retired Ben Roethlisberger. Look, man, I don't know what else to tell you. We retired
Maybe we should have kept him in that basement.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
Maybe we should have kept him there. Like that we should have put in a rule saying that a head football coach should coach from their basement.
Yeah,
and we would have won games.
We're trying that with Kenny Atkinson too.
I mean, my thing is, there's two things, I guess, when it comes to this whole situation we're talking about. One, I don't think, and it's clear now, that Myles Garrett was ever on board with the Todd Monken hire. That's why he posted on Instagram pretty much hours after Todd Monken was brought in as the head coach for the Browns. He clearly wanted Jim Schwartz or some sort of defensive mind or whoever, but I'd imagine it was Jim Schwartz. And Jim Schwartz had already talked about that. We played the clip last week, on some of the daily shows from the Ryan Ripken show about Jim Schwartz speaking out publicly for the first time since resigning and saying, you can't have where some players will listen more to me and this. And I'd imagine Myles Garrett would be one of those guys that would listen.
Would have been at the very top, Eli. He would have been the guy that would have listened to Jim Schwartz over Todd Monken.
He would have been Myles' coach, yeah.
Exactly. So you have that, guys. I think that's one is Myles Garrett. I think the Todd Monken hiring was the last straw for Myles. And, we tried to make sense of it here on the network and, all over in Cleveland, people try to make sense of, well, Myles always doesn't go to OTAs. He's never had OTAs. Okay, but the fact that he hasn't even had contact with the head coach, and that was something. Now, I will say the other thing, speaking of Todd Monken, if this Myles Garrett trade told me anything, it's that Todd Monken will be the head coach of the Cleveland Browns going into the Dome. It doesn't matter unless they are. I will put this one caveat: if they are catastrophic,
Hugh Jackson bad.
You stole the words out of my mouth. I was just about to say Hugh Jackson bad. If they're Hugh Jackson bad, that's a caveat. Okay, you can't. But if they're like 7-9, or I guess you can't go 7-9 anymore. If you're 7-10, 8-9, a few years, and you're showing improvement, whatever that looks like. And I just do the quotes because sometimes improvement isn't even improvement. It's lip service. But if they are showing improvement enough under Todd Monken, he'll be the coach going into the Dome, because why would you make this trade after you bring in the new head coach and you're giving all these different options at quarterback? You're going to let him kick the tires on Deshaun Watson, which again, I think comes down to a Jimmy Haslam and Andrew Berry thing more than a Todd Monken thing. I think, we've talked about it in the offseason, Todd Monken is more of a yes man when it comes to, hey, as long as it's going to keep the peace, I'll try it out. And I think he's going to get a lot of opportunities, whether it is kicking the tires one more time on the old Tesla, like AA likes to call it, Deshaun Watson, or if it is going through with a younger quarterback and then getting his chance to draft a guy. Okay, so if he drafts a guy, he's going to have 2-3 years, because you're not going to just take an offensive guy as a coach, draft a young quarterback, and then fire him after a year. I mean, they've done it before. I can't say you'll never do that, but it would be outlandish. It would be malpractice. It would be very Cleveland Browns-like for them to do that, and I would hope they've learned from their past mistakes. That mixed with such a catastrophic at first, but maybe an important trade, is why I think Todd Monken will be the coach going into the Dome, wherever it is, whenever it is.
Well,
Eli, Rob, you responded. I have a follow-up question for Eli.
I was going to say he's going to have to manage the quarterback situation. Okay, he's going to have to pick the right thing. He's going to have to go in the right direction. But I think, to kind of summarize, and what we've all been saying here in our own way, if it is the wrong head coach, which I think, yeah, you're right with, like if, taking, Myles and, Schwartz out of the equation now, the Browns are freer on defense. They can run whatever they want to run, scheme-wise. They can play whoever. They are not locked into whatever they're doing. Mm-hmm. But, with, the coaching change happening, with the, Myles not being a fan of that, the team not being in, the same window to win as Myles right now, let's be straight up about it. I think ultimately the reason why this trade happened is, for the first time in Myles' run with the Browns, what was good for the Cleveland Browns was not going to be good for Myles Garrett. And that's why we're here. That's ultimately they couldn't get the same thing out of the experience. And yeah, it was just time to move on. That was all I was going to say.
No, that's a big point. And that leads actually to my follow-up question to Eli. And Rob, you can answer this too. So, Eli, if you believe that this ensures that Todd Monken, if he does okay, he's the head coach going into the Dome. Are you willing to say the same thing about Andrew Berry? To me, they're kind of locked. They're locked in. If you go by that line of thinking, they're locked in step.
It depends. I don't know if they're. I'll disagree with you there. I don't think they're locked in step, because they weren't brought in together. And I understand you could say, okay, but Berry brought in Monken, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything to Jimmy Haslam. Let's also just keep that factor in mind, that Jimmy Haslam is crazy, and he will, in a moment's notice, keep the coach and get rid of the GM, because they're on different clocks. Andrew Berry's been here longer. I will say there's more of a likelihood now with all this that Jimmy Haslam's gonna say, okay, we have to at least see through the next 2 drafts. I would say the next 2. You got to see it through, because I agree with you, Rozycki. They got to get the quarterback situation right, but I don't think this is going to be held on Todd Monken. Even if Deshaun Watson goes out there,
I don't think this year will be. This year will not be.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. If they go out there and they put Deshaun Watson
right now, they're asking him to make chicken salad out of chicken shit.
Exactly. Deshaun Watson goes out there for 3 starts and he looks like garbage, and then they put Shador out there and he looks, and I think he will look good. But if he doesn't, whatever, they're just gonna go, okay, Todd, hey, guess what? We are down a top 3 position. Go ahead and tell me who you want. Is it Dante Moore? Is it Arch Manning? Who is it? Who are you looking for? Is it what? Julian Sayin out of Ohio State. Had to say for Buckeyes fans, Yeah, I mean, no. But I mean, would it be one of those guys, so that Todd would have his option then. So I just think this year, Todd Monken's playing with house money. He just has to show improvement, and the Haslams will be happy, and Berry will be happy. I think they win 5 or 6 games. I think they're going to go, guess what, Todd? You looked all right this year. Now we just got to get the quarterback. I mean, this year is like a stopgap year because of the Myles Garrett trade, because of the new head coach, just because of a lot of factors in here. I mean,
because this is year 5 of Deshaun Watson's contract too.
That and I think that's a big factor, doubly. There's other factors too. The fact that they were also, we're talking about defense and losing guys there. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah was one of the best linebackers in football. And now we're not even sure if he'll play football again.
He's Cleveland's Ryan Shazier.
I mean,
That's how Pittsburgh looks at Ryan Shazier. Just like what could have happened.
And the Garrett thing's big and everything, and Deshaun Watson, I get that, but I think the JOK thing doesn't get talked about enough. The Browns were set at every level of the defense. And don't get me wrong, Jared Verse is going to be really good, I think, here. I'm very excited. And Carson Schwarzenegger, awesome. But the fact they had JOK, an actual game changer in that moment, and when he went out, I just think that's not talked about enough, because not only was he an impact player on the field, he strikes me as someone that is a leader. And yes, he was a little bit on the younger side out of like that roster, but it seemed like guys listened when JOK spoke. He's a very smart individual. He speaks with a lot of confidence and poise, speaks with his chest. And I think the Browns lost a leader off the field in terms of in the locker room when JOK went out. I think that's something that doesn't get talked about a lot, but that's why they've been scrambling. Like, why did the Browns go get a linebacker? Yes, Jared Verse is the best defender on the Rams. Sure, that factors into it. But it's because they have nobody right now to pair with Carson Schwarzenegger. That would have been JOK there. And I don't know, maybe I'm overstating it, but I think it's not talked about enough in terms of JOK's absence from this team as well.
I think the big loser, though, in this trade has to be Dillon Gabriel. First off, we've been talking, options at quarterback the whole way. We haven't mentioned that guy. And if he were to get in as a actual participant in an NFL game, is he just going to have a blank jersey? Is he just going to have his name and no number? Because my favorite part of this whole story was Gabriel walking out for OTAs and seeing the brand new pass rusher, Jared Verse, having the number 8 and playing like he was going to be number 8. And no one had talked to Gabriel. Typically in the NFL, they'll buy the number, they'll at least have a discussion. But I think Verse grabbed the number and said, "If you want it back, kid, you could probably try to take it. I don't know if it's gonna work, but you can try to take it." But yeah, that has to be a pretty shitty feeling to be going out and seeing somebody wearing your number and be like, "Oh well, okay, guess we might be going to Atlanta pretty soon."
And that was only days after Todd Monken in the press conference saying, "Oh, we have 2 quality starting quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think the third?"
Yeah, that was as bad as the Browns postgame show I did last season where I called him Taylor the entire time. So yeah, that worked out well.
That's disrespectful to Taylor Gabriel, pal.
I think it's turning out that way. Yeah.
I want to, before we go to break, I will add this final point that Dillon Gabriel has a few options. People were saying, possibly online that what happens if 1 through 19 is taken up? And I have no fear, Mr. Gabriel.
Oh, I thought when you said other options, I thought you were thinking color guy for Oregon football.
I mean, I'm sure you could try that out. And they like him at Oregon.
Planet Fitness.
They like it. They like him at Oregon. I don't know. He has options at
Trader Joe's hiring. What's up?
Number 1 is an option for him. Nobody's wearing number 1. And then number 6. So, I mean, nobody's ever worn number 6 at quarterback.
Nope. No. Any other options?
Those are the options between 0 and 19.
Oh, he's out.
Because I believe, Isaiah Bond wears 0, Shador wears 2, Judy 3, Deshaun 4, Quincy Williams 5, Tyson Campbell 7, Dillon Gabriel and Jared Verse 8, Grant Delpit 9, Quinshon Judkins 10, and the list goes on. All the way up to 19 is filled up. So, he doesn't have many options.
No prime numbers.
Like Yankee retired numbers here.
Yeah, somebody said they're going to send Dillon Gabriel out in number 28 or whatever.
It could be like Ohio State where, you got 3 number 11s on the sideline because, none of them are actually going to play.
Yeah, and he can't even wear 20. I just looked. Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, the second-round pick for the Browns this year. So he ain't getting that one either.
Well,
when he's getting punked by this year's draft class now, that's bad.
Yeah. His agent needs to make a call to Matt Ryan and the Atlanta Falcons because there's a head coach over there that would probably use his services.
Remember, other little quarterback, Doug Flutie. Remember what number he wore at Boston College?
22.
Boom.
Yeah, and Kyle Cornell from the Side Hustle Wrestling podcast chiming in here. He makes up a good point. Dillon Gabriel can't even choose 1.
Oh, yeah. He's right. KC does have number 1. Yeah.
He switched to 1. So he has number 6.
00.
Double. Yeah. Oh, no, Dillon. You're gone, bro. You're about to be cut just because he can't give you a number right now. Like, they don't even know what number to give you. They're just going to get rid of you.
Yeah, you can't be second string or third string with number 1. and you're never going to be a starter. Like it's just not.
No, unless you're like Pat McAfee punting or something like that. Yeah, and
yeah. So his option is 6.
Going to get sent to Atlanta for a conditional 6th-round pick. I think is what's going to happen.
And it could work too, because I'm looking at that Atlanta QB room.
They're all lefties.
A lot of injury-prone quarterbacks in that room.
And they're all lefties, too. And Gabriel would fit in well with that. So,
well listen, Stefanski said he's going to let the quarterback battle play out, that they both have a lot of positives, and he's excited to see them compete. That's all you can ask for.
In fact, the first thing that popped up real quick on the Falcons QB room from 92.9 the game, the most fragile quarterback room ever. The Atlanta Falcons.
They got to have insurance on that room. Like if something happens, we are insured a top 5 pick, because that's like a disaster. Like that's bad, pal. Like Kirk Cousins would have been better than what they've trotted out this year. And I know Kirk Cousins had his own statement on TV about how the Patriots dynasty is back while he's currently still playing NFL football. But I digress.
Russell Wilson at this point. And Russell Wilson also, is he a lefty? I think he's a lefty.
Yeah, but he just announced his retirement. He's going to the broadcast.
Okay, I watched Brock Lesnar retire 4 months ago, and that worked out well. I mean, retirements are – I watched Brett Favre retire a bunch of times.
Yeah, but I think Russ – I'll be honest. I get what you're saying. I think Russ is actually done, though. I mean, he's tried his hand.
Russ was done 2 years ago.
Yeah, he was the man in Seattle, and then, Denver, it kind of like was, Pittsburgh was like, hey, we'll give you a little bit of a somewhat nice send-off. I mean, but, yeah.
I hope he talks smack about Sean Payton. Sean Payton did – I know his business. I get it. Sean Payton did him dirty. And did him dirty for his, it impacted his legacy, to be perfectly honest. Yeah. I hope he is a Sean Payton hater. Anytime they talk about the Denver Broncos, it's like, well, their coach is holding back Bo Nix. I want to hear him come down.
As they went to the AFC Championship. They went to the AFC Championship game last year. You can't even. He's holding it back.
They're going to lose a stupid game in week 2 or week 3, and I want to hear Russ say like, "Hey, they have the wrong coach."
Hey, I will say, I think Denver takes a major step back this year. All joking aside, I know we're not going to talk full NFL here right now, but I think Denver takes a major step back. I think that Bo Nix injury is kind of crazy.
Well, and yeah, if that's the case, you're going to be looking at probably a wide open AFC, because I highly doubt, with all the crap the Patriots have had to deal with this offseason, I don't see them coming back and being in that title game again, too. So, yeah, it could be a little weird. But we will definitely have some sort of NFL. I'm sure we will have a random summer show where it'll just be an NFL preview or something like that, mainly because we'll need the content. But yeah, we'll get going on that absolutely throughout the summer. Are we doing a show next week, guys? Are you guys going without me, or are we going to be off next weekend?
I'm glad you asked. Double A?
No. No, we got sales stuff and production stuff. We're gonna actually work on an intro for this show.
So we will be taking a dark week for anybody out there. That's kind of what I was. Okay. Yes. All right. Yeah. Cause I'm going to be at the beach and you guys will be working. So I think all of us will be happy in our own way. But yeah, we'll get into, what's going on in the NFL. I'm sure over the next couple of weeks and months, we'll have an entire offseason to get into it. And plus, we're still waiting to see how these rosters shake out and how everything's going to kind of materialize before training camp starts. But up next, we will talk a little bit of news and notes. We got a lot of just random sports stuff happening, a little bit in hockey, a little bit in soccer, a little bit in tennis, and then a complete hell scenario that Double A described to me that happened in Sandusky, Ohio, on a roller coaster that we'll get into, and hopefully I will not have any sort of PTSD talking about this kind of stuff, because if you want to talk about hell on earth, some people in Cedar Point had that situation happen.
Rob, Double A signed us up for it. We're riding it next week before you go on vacation.
How much am I getting paid?
Well, we're still working. Let's go.
We'll be right back after these messages.
Double A said it well.
Fanatics isn't just our name, it's who we are. Loyal, passionate fans dedicated to our favorite teams and to the sports we love. That's why we're honored to be able to offer fans the world's largest collection of official sports apparel and sports jerseys from all leagues, teams, and players you love. We feature a wide selection of gear from every league, including the NFL, MLB, NBA, NHL, and NCAA merchandise, which allows us to serve fans of football, baseball, hockey, basketball, lacrosse, soccer, golf, and, well, everything else that gets your heart pumping. Go to fanatics.com by using the QR code on your screen right now to celebrate your teams. That's fanatics.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader. Discover our collection of handcrafted candles. That's right, every product is thoughtfully created in small batches free from harmful toxins for mindful everyday indulgence. Our candles are hand-poured in coconut soy wax with natural wood wicks, offering a long-lasting burn and rich fragrances. Create a cozy, safe ambiance for your home with candles from Alley Rose Fragrances. First-time customers use the promo code InsideEdge20 to receive 20% off your order. AlleyRoseFragrances.com, proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Podcast Network. Find us on InsideEdgeNetwork.com for the latest information on your favorite shows, personalities, and network partners. Plus, guess what? We have a merch shop. That's right, we have network polos, t-shirts, champion jackets, hats, and bottles. Rep the network. Every purchase supports independent sports and entertainment media. Use the QR code on your screen right now to check out InsideEdgeNetwork.com. That's InsideEdgeNetwork.com. Clean energy, bold flavors, and no jitters. See why people won't shut up about Dubby. Clean energy, no jitters or crash. Whether you're starting your workday or getting ready to exercise, Dubby Energy helps you lock in and focus. With over 15 flavors to choose from, you can't miss. Order Dubby Energy right now by using the QR code on your screen and use the promo code InsideEdge10 to receive 10% off your order. Dubby Energy, your energy-focused sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader. Hey guys, awesome episode of Unfiltered today. Talked about a bunch of different things, including the first energy scandal. We've got some more indictments that came down. And Jake Underwood talked about what he would do with the lakefront property now that the Browns are moving over to Brook Park. As for tomorrow's show on your Friday, new drug making the rounds that's a little more concerning than fentanyl. Believe it or not, we'll talk about that. And President Trump going to be attending an NBA Finals game. We'll tell you which one and if it's a good idea. Right here on Unfiltered, 5 p.m. all along the Inside Edge Network. I'll see you on Friday.
And we thank you for your support of the Inside Edge Network. And don't miss my show, Midnight Run, right here on the Inside Edge Network. You won't miss a single episode when you like and subscribe at Inside Edge Net.
Mosser Moments Photography is a husband and wife wedding photography team based in Cleveland, owned and operated by Inside Edge Network's very own Ryan Mosser and his wife, Hallie. For the past 10 years, they've captured more than 100 weddings across Northeast Ohio and beyond, always working together as a true two-person team. Their style centers on authentic, emotional storytelling, documenting the real moments between two people in love and creating images that feel natural, comfortable, and true to the couple. Rooted in Northern Ohio but inspired by their travels, Ryan and Hallie bring a warm, personal approach to every wedding day. Their work blends experience, consistency, and a genuine passion for helping couples relive their best day through timeless photography. Learn more at MosserMomentsPhotography.com by using the QR code on your screen right now. MosserMomentsPhotography.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader. Whether searching for a baseball autographed by your favorite World Series slugger, a signed football by an iconic Hall of Famer, or the jersey of a world-famous soccer star, you've come to the right place. Here at SportsMemorabilia.com, the web's leading source of authentic sports memorabilia, you'll find more than 500,000 authentic products from nearly every professional sports league, team, and players. Not only will you find your next prized sports possession with ease thanks to superb customer service and tremendous site experience, you'll have the satisfaction and peace of mind that every product listed comes complete with a certificate of authenticity and is fully backed by the SportsMemorabilia.com lifetime authenticity guarantee. Go to SportsMemorabilia.com by using the QR code on your screen right now. SportsMemorabilia.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Podcast Network, Cleveland's digital leader.
Small business owners are superheroes, but nowadays running your business means doing so inside your shop and on social media. That's why you should make Omega Video Marketing your sidekick. With a decade of content creation experience, I create dynamic, informative, and fun videos for your specific social needs that will increase brand awareness, get you more followers, and keep your social pages and websites current and fresh. I offer flexible pricing and turn times and will work with you to understand your brand and your story. All of that comes from the heart. My award-winning expertise is just the cherry on top. So let's get connected. After all, your brand is the alpha and my expertise is the omega.
Welcome back to the main event here on the Inside Edge Network. We got Double A Anthony Alford. We got Moon. I am Rob Rozycki. And we're going to call this the final segment of the show because we swore to Double A we were going to get him out of here by 11:30, and obviously going that the hell and back. Yeah, we'll get into this quick here. We'll stop the digression here about what's going on TV or Love Island. I see that's trending on Twitter right now. But yeah, it is what it is. News and notes. We have a bunch of stuff to talk about. Not for nothing, the Guardians, they got creamed today 10-0. Besides the New York Yankees, they haven't been able to win a lot of series lately, but at least they're smacking that Yankee ass up, Kyle. I know you're watching, Buckaroo, and for whatever reason, you guys just can't beat us right now. And Aaron Judge, good luck healing up, buddy. Do we have any sort of comment on any Yankee hate before we move on? Or Guardians love, I guess.
Do it again, because we got them again this week.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. They'll be 7:00 first pitches, I think, all until Wednesday. So this one will be in Cleveland.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the Yankees, but I also produce Kyle's show Unfiltered every day of the week. So I'm gonna stay. No,
Eli, you better put 10 toes down. You better put 10 toes down. And you talk that talk about the Guardians against the Yankees. You better put them toes down.
It's the regular season, Eli. Do it while you can, because if we face each other in the playoffs, typically it goes in a different direction.
See, and I hear you there. First off, I'll say we did whoop that ass. But I will say that I think this is a big deal. Aaron Judge, the 4 to 6 weeks being reimaged. That's a big deal, fellas. I mean, obviously the Yankees will still be buyers at the deadline, and they're probably going to be a little bit more aggressive now. I mean, they're being held up by Ben Rice. Kyle's brought it up before, Paul Goldschmidt hitting the ball well for those guys, but they're going to look for another bat. I would not be surprised. I know maybe a little bit of a reach, but Mike Trout, I mean, it's been rumored that he's trying to go win something for the first time in his MLB career besides individual awards.
Now he wants to win something?
And that's a lot of money, though, to take on for any team. I think he's got 3 or 4 years left on a big-ass contract.
Yeah, but if there's one of 3 teams that could take him on, it would be the New York Yankees. And that's my only thing is I could see it just because they're trying to win a chip right now. I mean, especially with the Heat, we talk all the time in Cleveland about how the other Cleveland teams feel when Cavs are doing well or whoever. The Knicks are playing good basketball right now. Like, I'm sure the Yankees want to ride that momentum if the Knicks get it done. And, I'm just thinking in a New Yorker mindset for a moment, and I'll get out of that because I'm a Clevelander. And what I will think of is the fact that this could be different come the playoffs, Rob. I mean, what happens if Aaron Judge, they do the reimaging in a month or, a month and a half, and they say, hey, bud, you're not ready to come back. Chad Bryan's brought it up on Inside Edge Prime Time that, when you're swinging the bat, that, with that much velocity, that much intensity, breaking the top.
He's also
rib,
a big guy, too, which doesn't help this out.
Yeah, that, and, Chad said you're better, you just about broke your collarbone, essentially, what I'm saying, in terms of swinging where you're at. And what happens if they say, hey, you're not ready till September? I mean, this could be a thing. The Yankees aren't even in first in the AL East right now. And I know Kyle's probably rolling his eyes wherever he's watching on his screen, but they aren't. The Tampa Bay Rays are first in the AL East. And I think this is a big thing for the Rays. And I think this is a big thing for the Guardians. I think this is where the Guardians can look and go, hey, we should be big buyers at the deadline because this is our chance to win the American League. And I know Kyle's saying it's a broken rib, not a torn ACL, but think about where you're at in terms of baseball. When you're swinging in your rib and you have to swing, it's a pretty big thing. So I'd imagine.
And the other thing too, and again, I'll try to be as fair to New York as I can be. But Aaron Judge is 5 years older than Myles Garrett. Aaron Judge is going to be, I think, 35 by the end of the year. So it's not exactly like a young guy healing back. We're talking about a player that if you just look at the straight up numbers on, he is entering the down end of his career. 30, you don't get it typically unless you're Barry Bonds and have the help that Barry Bonds did. You don't get better when you get into your late 30s. So, yeah, this could be something for the Yankees to keep an eye on. It's definitely going to open up the American League a little bit. It seemed like the New York and Tampa Bay were kind of in a class of their own. They were going to fight over, the first wild card spot in the AL East title. And then it was everybody else. New York might fall back now to that everybody else pack and open up the American League. It's definitely going to open up the American League MVP. I think this is going to be the first time since 2020 that the American League MVP will not be Ohtani or Judge. So this is something that's going to be a new thing. There's going to be a new star that's going to be able to come out and actually make some national headway. If it is, I don't think Jose's in a spot for that to happen right now. I don't even know what the American League MVP race would look like without Aaron Judge at the top of it. So, yeah, it's definitely going to make it interesting for the next few months, if not for the entire regular season with this Yankee club.
And by the way,
yeah.
Go ahead, Eli.
Oh, I was going to say, I was being so kind to Kyle, and then I just keep seeing him chirping in the comments about best starting pitching and all that. But you're behind the Tampa Bay
the
Rays.
Guardians are the only major league team all year to only use 5 starting pitchers?
Yeah, like now you're just talking to talk about it. I was going to be a little nice tonight, but like
this is what you don't need to be nice. No, you put your 10 toes down, Eli, and you talk that talk tomorrow afternoon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and call Derek Jeter the most overrated player of all time. Please just do it right to his face.
Yeah, you know what? Kyle might just have to relax a little bit because I believe last time I checked, one team's in first in their division. I get it's the AL Central, but hey, the AL East is led by one of the lowest payrolls in baseball, and it's the Tampa Bay Rays. So, and that was with Aaron Judge. So again, I think the Yankees will be buyers at the deadline. I could see a big move happening, but I'm not buying it. This Yankees talk. I know they've won more recently than the Guardians, clearly. But this talk, you guys just won a title 3 years ago. Didn't you get that ass whooped by the Dodgers when you got there for the first time in the Judge era? So I'm not. This is like the end of the Judge era, the next 3, 4, 5 years, because it'll be 38, 39 around that time. So I feel they're going to be a little desperate to try to bring in a bat. They're not going to rely on who they have, and sure, they have good starting pitching. They're the Yankees, Kyle. They can. I
will admit something though. When's the last time the Yankees have actually been desperate to add, huge talents? And I think
actually, the Kyle's leaning on the pitching. They have been in desperate need of starters because of injuries or underperformance. It seems pretty regularly. This is like this is the best the Yankee pitching staff has looked in recent memory for sure. But they've always been, it's New York. They need an all-star at every position. They need somebody who's capable of hitting 3 or 4 in any lineup in baseball to be at every spot in that deal. That's just how Yankee fans are.
Yeah.
You know who did talk that talk though? Hammy. Talking about Jazz Chisholm going to the Tonight Show. The problem was the next day Jazz responded and he did his thing.
Yeah, who won that game though?
Exactly.
Okay.
Right.
Just wanted to check that just to make sure that we're okay here. Yeah. Okay, well, we had our impromptu Guardians discussion here, which turned into an impromptu Yankees discussion. News and notes here though, we got a lot going on besides just baseball. We have a Stanley Cup final right now that looks like this is going to be one for the ages. The NHL along, if you want to pair it with international hockey, it seems like every time they have been required to deliver in the last couple of years, they have. And this one is no different. You got the Vegas Golden Knights. You got the Carolina, don't call me Florida Panthers here. Or Hurricanes here. Again, wow, messing all these names up. But yeah, Carolina and Vegas. Yeah. And a epic, what was it, Game 3 last night? A flurry of goals from both sides, a comeback. But the NHL Stanley Cup, I know we don't spend a lot of time on hockey in these parts here, but it's definitely worth the price of admission right now.
Yeah, it's been real well. a great series, a lot of fun. Vegas, their third Stanley Cup final, like Rob's saying, since 2017, this team literally created 9 years ago, and they've been 1/3 of their time in the NHL has been in as the last two teams remaining. Pretty remarkable. And it's not obviously the same faces that won them their title back in 2023 or anything like that. I just think it's been real cool to see like guys like Mitch Marner and some of these other guys stepping up for Vegas. Mitch Marner with the quickest hat trick in Stanley Cup final history in Game 3. Some other things that stood out too. Carolina, 3 goals in 39 seconds. They were down 4-0 going into the third period, and they scored 3 goals in 39 seconds and end up tying the game up in the third period. They go to double overtime, and it hits off one of the Carolina Hurricanes skates, goes off the goalie, and it's in, and that's it. And Vegas really was thankful for that, right? Because that could have been historically bad, really bad. And I just think it's been a fun series. You got your big West Coast team and your juggernaut with Vegas, and they've won it, and then you got Carolina, and they're like, we're just kind of like Midwest Southern peeps. We're just vibing and we're having a good time. I don't know. It's funny when I ask people about how they feel about Knicks Spurs. A lot of the people I ran into are very on the Spurs side. When I ask about Hurricanes and I ask about Knights, it's very split. People are like, man, I like the Knights just because, they got cool uniforms. If you ask Papa Moon, and then if you ask some other fans, you ask Carolina because it's something fresh. And I think that's something hockey's done a really good job of. It was rare that we saw what we saw the last few years with the Florida Panthers getting their back-to-back years, things like that. You don't see that a ton in hockey, so I think that was cool to see some new faces and all that. I think it's been fun.
Keep in mind, that Stanley Cup final wasn't just the Panthers winning it back-to-back. It was the Oilers losing
Correct.
it back-to-back.
Correct.
That was, you had the same two teams both the whole way. And Carolina in itself, they've been a very good regular season team. They've been, one of those, the Cavs that have kind of shown a lot of promise, until the playoffs get, and then the style changes and everything kind of goes down. And to compare them to another basketball team, they've been on a Knicks-esque run. If Carolina has, I think it was a 5-game series in the first round, and then 2 back-to-back sweeps. They were in a position that if Vegas did fall in a sweep, that I think it was 17 games that they were going to win the Stanley Cup in, which would have been a record. So they cooled off Carolina pretty much instantly. And you got the United States of Tortorella coach in Vegas right now. Knowing full well he'll probably get fired in the next calendar year, but right now we're trying to win a cup. So it's definitely a lot of fun to watch.
Maybe, but Tortorella, man, he got a bad rap in Columbus. I mean, I covered a little bit of the Blue Jackets when he was in Columbus. And the problem with Columbus, that's a whole different discussion, but the problem with Columbus is they just don't have any accountability there for the most part. And they haven't had accountability over the last decade when, you talk about guys like Sonny Milano, who has all the talent in the world, but just never could put it together between his ears to actually become that next great offensive player that the Columbus Blue Jackets were looking for with bonehead plays. I don't think that's on Tortorella. I get it. I know he's bounced around a few places. Tortorella, though, he's the guy.
I'll say Tortorella is like the NHL version of Thibodeau, where he's a good coach, but he just wears thin after a while. Nothing against him, but it's just his style doesn't work well for 3, 4, 5-year, 10-year runs. That's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to knock him.
Yeah, no, I get you, and I'll give you that. I think the other thing with Vegas though has been stand out is they whooped it. They put the belt to ass. Trying to watch my mouth a little bit, but they put belt to ass to the Colorado Avalanche, who were like the standout favorites in coming out into the Stanley Cup playoffs. Colorado, the 1 seed, they go 4-0 against the Kings, 5-game series against the Minnesota Wild, who's no slouch, and then the Vegas Golden Knights just absolutely whooped them. They swept them. I mean, so there's been some really impressive runs by not only Carolina but by Vegas and the way they've got here. And you know what? I just hope both teams have fun. I'm not rooting for anybody. I just hope both teams have fun. You're
going to get your ass kicked like Elmo.
Yeah.
I
saw
kind of
that.
will be.
I saw that.
I will say
Danhausen cursed Elmo. That's where we're at here now, folks.
Mm-hmm.
No, he told Elmo to be careful. He didn't curse him. He just said, Elmo Hausen, be careful. You got to pick a side.
No, he said, Elmo, pay me or else. First off, I'm thankful that you guys.
That's a pro wrestler right there.
Yeah, I know. I'm very thankful you both carried the Stanley Cup portion of news and notes because I did not watch much of Game 3. Instead, I watched the Guardians, but also Savannah Bananas was on the CW on Saturday, and Caitlin Clark, who I'm starting to have some strong thoughts and opinion about Caitlin Clark, and it ain't a good one. She was
Yeah, we
also
starting to
on
hate her
Saturday
now.
night.
Is that what's happening here? I try to stay away from women's basketball because it just makes my head hurt in a lot of cases with all the stuff around it. But yeah, it looks like we're not supposed to like her now. Is that what it is?
I'll just say this. I think the way things are looking, I want to watch a little bit more so I can get like an informed opinion. But if a guy complains during games as much as she does, then we would be all over that player. It's just, and recently now, like Caitlin Clark, you saw it on the bench, her and Stephanie White, her head coach, kind of showing her off a little bit now. And it's like, what are we doing? But I need to watch a little bit more just to get like an informed opinion. Because, yeah, there's a lot of smoke right now in terms of Caitlin Clark's attitude. And again, Indiana made the playoffs last year while she was hurt for a good chunk of the season last year. So that's something, again, is this something to watch? I'm not ready to like put my foot down on that opinion yet, but I'm getting close.
Okay, we'll definitely we'll adjourn for the week for sure, and we'll give AA about 14 days to kind of give us the verdict on that for sure.
And I hate WNBA balls. I'm sorry. One last thing, I hate their basketballs. They need to use regular basketballs. I think the game is played well, like really well. Like the games are entertaining. I hate their basketballs.
Wow.
Okay.
That's my take.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what grinds my gears portion. What's up?
Yeah. Dude, goodness. Rob, what do we got next, bud?
Well, okay. Another sport that we are, I'm sure, have expert opinions on here and can give you learned analysis on. The World Cup, it looks like it's going to be starting up this week from what you guys tell me. Friday is going to be the opening festivities.
Yeah.
This is a North American World Cup. Canada, United States, Mexico, all will be hosting games. Again, for a lot of the same reasons we were talking about with the presidential interference on MSG, politics are wading big time into this one too. I think we'll forego that discussion for another day. But yeah, gentlemen, how excited are we that the eyes of the world are upon these United States for the World Cup, the event of events, the showstopper of everything in sports, unless you're from here.
It is being held here.
I'll tell you,
kind of a conundrum, isn't it?
I think it's cool though. I will say that I got to cover a Gold Cup game, the CONCACAF or whatever.
Yeah, that's how you say it.
Yeah, okay, I have to make sure.
Whenever your anagram has 3 syllables, you really have to think about the name of your organization.
Yeah, CONCACAF. But I covered a Gold Cup game back 6 years ago. And it was cool. It was at Brown Stadium. It was good energy. It was a friendly game. USA was playing. I can't remember who against, but they were playing. They were having just a good time out there. The fans were rowdy, and it's just cool because we talk all the time about how fans are rowdy for sports. This is like country pride. We talk about how much we love the Olympics, and I get soccer may not be everybody's cup of tea, and probably not the 3 of ours like main sport clearly, but like it's something that is like country pride, and it's cool, and it's something that evens the playing field. We talk all the time about how, okay, nobody's going to be, Americans in American football, like, putting the pads on, putting the helmet on. Okay, I get that, but almost everything else, it's like, it's every other sport pretty much for the most part. You're seeing a lot of countries make up the best in the world in these leagues and everything. And I think that's what makes the World Cup cool is, you have so many different leagues and, different, brackets, whatever, throughout the year and different things that maybe prevent seeing some of these superstar matchups. I remember growing up, with the World Cup, and the big talk was when I would get excited for is, okay, are you going to get to see Messi versus Ronaldo? And those were the 2 big names. Now it's hard, I guess, for USA fans because there's not that marketable. There are marketable. I'm not going to say that, but what I will say is there's not that like boom, like I know who I'm talking about. Like when I think of the old USA teams, I think of like Josie Altidore, I think of like Landon Donovan, I think of some of these other names that stand out that actually did, boom, ring a bell. then when I think of like this team, I think of Christian Pulisic, and then I can't really think of too many other guys. So I think that's where it comes in on the USA front. But I'm excited. I think it's cool. I got the experience of energy, like I said, 6 years ago, covering it as media. I've got to see like the excitement. Vince McKee from Key on Sports. We're gonna try to get him on the show on primetime this week because he was there at the friendly game. We mentioned at the top of the show with Egypt and Brazil, and just the energy, man. Like the energy was there, and I think that's gonna be cool. It's gonna give the world kind of a moment to come together, and enjoy some good soccer, and heck, maybe we come out knowing a little bit more soccer at the end of it. I think it's cool.
I think it's going to be fun to watch this overall. And again, just having it here in North America is going to be fun. Team USA getting out there on Friday night. I do remember, and I told you guys when we did the show a decade ago, I think 2014, when I was working at Cedar Point, I vividly remember, the 2014 World Cup and all of my international coworkers, you could not grab a seat in our cafeteria because they were gathered around the 2 TVs we had to watch all the World Cup games during that month. It was crazy. I will say this, and because we're Americans, we're full of ego. The reason why we're like, I don't know what's going to happen is because we never won the damn thing. The men's team has never won the World Cup. And it's like, what are we doing? We win at everything else. Again, we're Americans. We're full of ego. We win at everything else. And for whatever reason, we can't figure it out here.
Well,
is the U.S. Is our men's team, are they going to make it out of the group stage?
Yeah, I mean, that's the question. Rozycki, I'm sorry. I was going to add, the other thing that doesn't help, though, is, we see it, and I'm not going to say it's, right or wrong. It's whatever, out to the school. How many times do we see if Friday Night Lights are scheduled the same time as a soccer home game on Friday Night Lights, that they're getting moved to the Saturday afternoon or something? So, in fairness, the United States of America doesn't really make it where soccer's prioritized, even at a high school level. So it's hard to, feel like that should be the sport you're playing, So I think there's a little bit into that too, AA. I just think overall, yes, they need to win something first off to invoke that. But I think also the states, I don't think it's just Ohio, but do a bad job of putting soccer in the same limelight as these other sports.
And that MLS deal with Apple TV, that was horrible because nobody is watching their product here. Like,
they fumbled that the whole way.
Like we mentioned all those events that was on local broadcast television, from Savannah Bananas to the Stanley Cup Final, and nowhere to be found at any given week, Major League Soccer. Like, people are not going to find your product. So therefore, what kid out there is going to say, "Oh, I want to play soccer"? They're not seeing it.
Well, the other thing is too, the American athlete has probably 4 or 5 different other avenues to make far more money. That's the other thing too. The money in the MLS is not what it is in Major League Baseball. It's just not, or in the NFL. And to AA, to your point about the Americans falling in love with a winner, the Americans being used to winning, this is a tournament that's been happening since 1930. There's only 6 countries that have won a World Cup, period. And no team outside of Europe or South America has. No Asian team, no North American, no African, no Australian team has ever won a World Cup. So this is something where, and I know AA, you have your Ohio State football eyes on, and you're going for the national title every year. You might have to take off that Ohio State cap and put on your Bowling Green hat, where just making the NCAA tournament is an honor. And being at the final knockout round of 16 is going to be an honor, because I think, correct me if I'm wrong, that's about where the U.S. is about ready to, that's the they want to get to the knockout round. They want to win their group. They want to either, get into that final 16, and that itself will be an honor. Just like Bowling Green or Miami or whoever, getting to the NCAA tournament is the goal, not winning it, but getting there.
Yeah, but and that's a great point, Rozycki. I think this could be ultimately a turning point, though, for soccer. They have a lot of young guys on this team that, and like I said, led by Pulisic. I think they have guys that can be marketable and can, on this main stage, take advantage of that and make it where it's fun to play soccer in the United States again. I mean, it's there. It's just not as strong as the other sports. And I think, yeah, to your point, tempering expectations. If they go on a little bit of a run though here, I mean, yeah, enjoy it. Like it'll be fun. I mean,
Yeah.
yes, AA, like to Rob's point, we want to brace yourself here. We're probably, if we match up against like Argentina, probably not winning that one, bud. If we play Spain, probably not winning that one, bud. But like there's times where they could shock. In soccer, all you need is a few things to go your way. But also keep in mind they've had coaching changes over the last 6 years or so. There's been switches there. So there's been a lot of moving parts and still trying to find that star that can lead them to the next level in any of these big world battles.
I'll show you guys this real quick. I'm going to share my screen if possible here. This is how they have finished since 1930. And yeah, a lot of round of 16, a group stage,
I don't think they even
quarterfinal.
qualified for it a couple times. What was it, last one or the one before?
2018, they did not qualify.
Yeah.
And then look at that big stretch. What was it, from 1954 through 86? Not even qualifying.
No, we just said, nah. Yeah.
Like that is crazy. But hey, you know what though? I think you guys are right in terms of like good showing and like that part matters. But yeah, I mean that's what you have to have. And again, this is an opportunity here at home, here on your home turf, to have that great showing, and you could create new fans. It's honestly though, it does become up to then Major League Soccer and other youth sports leagues like that Eli mentioned. They got to follow through, and it starts with Team USA. I think this is huge. I'm overall very excited to watch these matches.
Yeah.
Kickoffs.
Well, and actually, to your vernacular there, AA, I think that's one of the issues with soccer in this country is that it does everything differently than every American pro sport, where the international game is more important than your club team. The fact that the season is split up, you have the international windows, you have long breaks. It's a year-round kind of thing. We don't wrap our heads around that as American fans. Even look at the clock. The clock will count up to 90. It doesn't count down from 90 like every major pro sport in this country. So I think it's almost like you have the Americans who are used to feet and inches and miles going over to Europe and now having to worry about kilometers, meters, and centimeters.
One little thing to be mindful of too, I believe there's going to be heat breaks during these matchups as well. I did see on the weather, at least here in Cleveland, we're gonna have some heat in these next few weeks, and it might be the same way with the World Cup. So that's something also to be mindful of, and see how it all plays out across the board with the World Cup.
Yeah, and I'll say this too. My final point on this is, and I know a lot of people don't, so I'm probably falling on deaf ears here, but if you understand hockey, you'll understand soccer. If you understand the basic premise of hockey, with offsides and those types of rules, then you'll understand soccer. Because you don't have slashing, but you have tripping, and tripping is essentially like slashing in hockey. And like offsides is you can't. Look, maybe we'll do a show on primetime this week where we get you prepped before the World Cup actually gets going about like some of the rules. But hockey is soccer on ice.
Yeah.
Like that's
I'm not saying about the rules itself. I'm just saying about the way they conduct the league over, and the business over. It's so different from anything we do. Try to explain to a baseball fan relegation.
Right. I get that.
So it's just a different style to it. Like, it is, it's like metric to English. It's the same thing, but it's just a different way of sorting it out and a different way of organizing it.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. All right. Well, this is the main event here on the Inside Edge Net. We got Anthony, we got Moon, I am Rob. We got a little bit more news and notes. We're cramming a bunch of stuff here at the end of the show, so I think we're going to have to miss a couple of the things here on the list. Let's see here. I do want to hit. We'll go on this one real quick because I do want to hit this for sure. AA, you had a story to contribute to news and notes in the pre-show, and again, we're going to bring up the roller coaster capital of the world yet again for the second straight week. There was some turmoil at Cedar Point. Apparently, there was a ride that broke down at a very inopportune time.
Yeah, let's play I'll play it on my end, Eli. I'm going to play the first 30 seconds of this clip. Siren's Curse. Just look at the ride and look what happened.
They're starting to tilt them back up. They disconnected from the... There it goes. There it goes. Now here's something you don't see every day. Siren's Curse in reverse.
So, the ride broke down. I mean, it was a malfunction. And I believe there were instances where
Rozycki's
position.
Rozycki's shell-shocked, and he's muted. Rozycki, I don't know how, but it muted you, and you got to unmute yourself, pal. Yeah, we're going to give Rob Rozycki a chance here to unmute himself. There you go.
Yeah, I'm on my phone too. That was even better.
I'm not going to lie. It's going to take longer. No,
but
they were stuck there for 30 minutes.
30 minutes.
And for those of you listening and not watching, we had a roller coaster that had stuck several hundred feet in the air. And most of the people were looking, it was not a conventional roller coaster cart. It was a plank, and everyone was looking straight down a couple hundred feet, stuck in that position for how long, Double A?
30 minutes, according to reports.
Fuck that.
Dude, Omar said, he said it's worth it. I don't know.
No.
Omar's a roller coaster guy. I could tell.
Yeah, he 1,000%. He's like, called me a few weeks ago. He goes, "You want to go to Cedar Point?" I said, "Omar, do you know what my time at Cedar Point consists of? Do they have Pink's hot dogs still?" He told me, "No, they don't have Pink's hot dogs." I said, "Okay, well, that's one less thing I will do at Cedar Point." Do they have the funnel cakes and all that good stuff? Oh, they do? Oh, tremendous. I appreciate you letting me know. So I'm going to go to the funnel cake section, and then after I'm done with that, I might grab some other food, and then when I'm done with that, I'll play a few games, and then I'll get on Iron Dragon, ride that like 5 times, maybe do the corkscrew, and that'll be my day.
Hey,
that'll be my
as
day.
you get older, you start to appreciate Iron Dragon more and more and more.
Iron Dragon's lit, man. And you know what? Rozycki, I'm with you. I mean, I've been tried to face my fear of heights and all this BS, but Omar puts the best. Uncle E is just going to hang with MJ. Omar's daughter, my niece, we're going to hang out. We'll walk around. I'll show her all the good eateries at Cedar Point. Maybe we'll win a few hoops games and the pop the balloon. Like, I'm not doing this. Like, the people are with me, fellas. Like, the people are with me. Iron Dragon is my spirit animal, Kyle. We're right back. Forget we talked Yankees Guardians about 20 minutes ago. We're right back in the same team. We're here. Iron Dragon. Let's get the whole gang. Rozycki,
so that coaster.
I've never been to Cedar Point.
Oh, you got to go at least once. There are things to do.
Yeah,
there are things to do.
Yeah, because I'm not, 3,000 foot high roller coaster guy. No, I'm not. Because that being stuck, and I told you this beforehand, I am not being hyperbolic. I am not being overly dramatic. If I was on that ride and got stuck, I would need therapy afterwards. That is my textbook definition of a living hell. Being that high off the ground and looking straight down to where you would be plummeting to your doom. If one rivet goes out, if one seatbelt goes out, if something wrong happens, that is where you will splat like a midge on my windshield. I am not doing that. I would need therapy and I would be seeking damages. I am not even kidding.
Now, hold up, Rob.
yes, go ahead, Tony.
I have a question for you. It's a multiple choice.
Double A, I actually got you here real quick before your question.
Go ahead, Eli.
I'd be remiss if we didn't have a little bit of tunes before we get the question.
Would you rather get stuck on the Siren's Curse, like what just happened?
Okay, there's going to be, you got to pretty much, you got to name something bad for this either or.
Like a tilt, and it's a tilt coaster, so it's a 90-degree angle that. So that's option A. Option B, get stuck at the top of the Millennium Force and the employees, and you have to walk back down the lift hill to get.
I
to
might
the
kill
ground.
myself.
You have to walk that down.
On alive, Rob. On alive.
On alive.
YouTube.
On alive.
YouTube, Rob. On
We're on
alive.
YouTube. Option C, top thrill dragster. You know, the top thrill dragster.
No, like, can you do that again for the people at home that missed that? Okay, thank you.
The classic, what we call a rollback, which is you fire off, you get to the top, but there's not enough power to get over the hump, and you roll yourself back to the beginning of the ride.
People love that. People love that.
Oh,
Rob,
I
believe
had
it or not.
coworkers
Well, yeah, because like we went on Everest and Disney World, and that was kind of the same situation. There wasn't 800 feet in the air, but yeah, you kind of hit the broken track and you go back.
So which
but
one are
we're
you
talking
choosing?
about top thrill dragster when you are
Yeah, you're
straight
seeing-
up
Yeah.
and then straight back down.
You're seeing Canada, and then you're coming back down to Ohio.
I can't make a decision. I would never put myself in that situation. I am not riding any 3 of those rides. I'm getting chills just even thinking about
Rob.
being that high in the air.
Rob, let's say this. Let's sweeten the pot a little bit here, all right? Okay, you want to do this for free, clearly. But let's say $100 million was on the line. And to get that $100 million, you had to do one of these options. Now, which one are you doing? Option A, the Siren's Curse, where you literally are just coasting there, chilling. Option B, where you have to walk down a mountain of Millennium Force. Or option C, you do a little rollback on the dragster. I think my option's very easy, but I'm curious to hear what yours would be.
Well, option 2 is out. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
I'm not using my own balance and power to walk down. No, that's not going to
I
happen.
wouldn't do that either.
I get
Um,
spaghetti legs. I'd be like, oh no.
No, I can't do that because I would look down. I can't do
Yeah.
no. Hell no. No.
I would probably have to go with the first one because you're not moving. At least with that, I'm in hell in any 3 of those situations. But I don't have to do anything besides just mentally survive. I don't have to climb downstairs. I don't have to deal with G-forces. No, I if I had to pick one for 100 mil, it would have to be number 1.
Omar's right. I forgot Top Thrill 2. Yeah, he's right. That's part of the ride now.
Yeah, it rolls back every time.
People love those rollbacks. I'm telling you. I had one of my best friends who worked there. He's like, we get on he gets on the rides, whatever. And it's like, dude, it rolled back today.
Dude, I'm telling you this. There's got to be like some sort of like help for option B, right? Like, I'm not walking. I haven't hit leg day in years. I am not walking down the Millennium Force. And one, it's like that Linkin Park song. It's like, I'm one step closer to the edge and I'm about to boop. Like, I'm not doing it. Nope. I'd probably choose option C because I've rode the dragster before. Now, I haven't had a rollback, but I have gone up and over the dragster and changed my life. I don't know for the better, but we did it. I've done the Millennium Force before. I've done some of these big rides. I've done the Maverick. I like the Maverick. That is another
I love
ride.
the Maverick.
I will say,
Love
out
the
of all the
Maverick.
scary rides, and I put quotes under scary rides because they're all scary to me, a lot of them. Maverick is cool, Rob. I think you'd like the Maverick. It goes real fast, so you don't have to worry about the anticipation of going over the hill. I like that because the hill is not my favorite thing. That's not fun.
My favorite coaster I've ever been on is Space Mountain. I'm 100% thrilled with that one. I am cool with it 100%.
If you could do Space Mountain from Disney World, if you could do Space Mountain, you could do Maverick.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's
You
about
could
the
do
same
Maverick.
thing. Yeah, it's a lot more twists and turns and like height. The first one, and there's like 2 big hills, if I remember correctly.
My least favorite roller coaster is Guardians of the Galaxy, also at Disney. Dude, if you need your back cracked, go on that thing because you will get a complete and utter spinal reorientation doing that.
Rob, when you were at Disney and waiting in line for Space Mountain, how many times did you get the urge to,
Woo?
woo?
Yeah.
Oh, shoot, I have neighbors. Sorry, that was too loud.
Oh, I made a lot of Ric Flair jokes to Nikki, which I think she was okay with like the first 2 or 3, but anything after that was just kind of annoying. Yeah, lot of oldest ride in the park, longest line, kind of be the man, you got to beat the man, so on and so forth.
Well,
At least I didn't do the reenactment of the plane ride from hell. I would have got thrown out of the park.
Ooh, I don't know how to pivot. I don't know how to pivot.
Buddy.
Well, here's what I'll leave us with on this topic is, Omar said it best. Rob, you're going to have to face your fears. I'll rise with you. We'll be ride partners. We'll be scared together. We need to have an inside edge day at the point.
I don't mind going to Cedar Point. That's fine. I am not getting on those tall coasters. It is not debatable.
Not even if you're in the middle. Not even if you're in the middle of the ride.
I know. No.
There would be nothing that could change your mind.
We'll gauge your interest, right?
Financial compensation, possibly, but I mean, like straight up, like heights are my thing, man. It's just not a fun time for me.
What if we told you could do a Sunday evening show on the Inside Edge Network with Double A and I every week?
Ooh, that's a hell of an offer there. Maybe we can do the show on the Millennium Force. Yeah, that'll be fun.
Dude, you know what? Now you're talking. You're talking.
As long as we're not eating McNuggets, we're fine.
No, we'll go to Soak City. You know where we got to do the show.
I can do that. We can handle that for sure.
There's a lot of history with this show in Soak City. I'm sorry, Cedar Point Shores. Now.
No, there's a lot of history with the show, but more specifically, one member of this show in Soak City.
So, Kyrie Irving, what do you think about Kyrie Irving's future with the Cleveland Cavaliers? Oh, I think it's great. What was that, Rob?
Oh, that was a time.
All right, but let's try to keep because we're beating the hell out of your curfew here. Real quick, and then this is going to happen while we are on our dark weekend here. But UFC 1776 will be happening on the White House lawn. I guess that's where the other big news and note that's happening over the next couple of days. I'm sure anybody on social media has seen the mega structure that now exists where the South Lawn used to be. They are getting ready to go for this outdoor event. Not for nothing, it looks like it's going to be a very rainy day in Washington, D.C. For that particular card. Moon, we're going to defer to you on this one here as the fight guy. Would this card be worth watching if it wasn't being held where it's at?
No, I don't think it's worth watching with where it's at. But I mean, it's just not. I mean, Ilia Topuria is a great fighter. I mean, let me give him his credit because he's tremendous. He's one of the best fighters, if not the best fighter pound for pound in the world right now for the UFC. He's really electric. I mean, his boxing is so good that they were literally having talks about him going over to boxing and doing some crossover. And I know that we, scoff sometimes at the, MMA guy goes over and does boxing. But if you want to talk about somebody that can actually box his ass off, Ilia Topuria is that guy. And he's fighting Justin Gaethje, who finally got to the crown, finally got to the title. So there is something there. I mean, that's exciting in itself. You're getting really a battle between two guys that are more than likely this fight doesn't go 5 rounds. So if that's, if you need one reason to tune in for the fight aspect, these guys are probably going to crush each other within like 2-3 rounds. Somebody's going down. Somebody will be knocked out. Other than that, the card's not standoutish. If we're just simply talking about the card, it's not anything that you're like going to spend 50. I want to spend 50 or $60, because again, Topuria Gaethje, you have the Alex Pereira versus Cyril Gane, but my problem is Alex Pereira, there's nobody holding a candle to him right now. I don't care to see Cyril Gane, I guess, right? Because Cyril Gane is the guy who has been in heavyweight title fights before. He's been in big match fights, and he just hasn't got it done. So I'm like, why would I get excited about Cyril Gane? Alex Pereira, sure, but I'm just not. I'm not excited about this fight card. I'm just. I don't know. That and then you mix everything else in that where it's at, all the antics, all this. It's just silly, man. It's just they had the press conference at the White House. I just think it's silly, man. I mean, Topuria and Gaethje, definitely a great main event. I just wish that would happen in Vegas or something, or I don't know where Ilia Topuria is from, Spain. Like give Spain the Spanish a crowd, a chance here. So.
Well, I'll ask you the question another way, too. Does the fact that it is at the White House and all of the bullshit that is happening around it, actually, too, I think as we were getting ready to go for the show today, Yeah, it looks like there is now a lawsuit being filed. I don't know what'll happen out of it, attempting to stop this whole situation
Right.
because, again, this is an organization that the president has minority stake in, but he does own stock in TKO, parent company of UFC. He is making a lot of money off this stuff. And that's just one little sliver of the bullshit sandwich involved with this. Does the fact that it is at the White House turn you off from watching this, maybe more so than you would have if it was just another average card on a UFC pay-per-view?
Yeah, I don't care for it at the White House. I don't know, like, the whole aspect of why that should get me more excited about it, because it's never been connected. Like, the two have never been connected before. So, like, why should I care if there's like some great history? If like the first ever fight was on the lawn, back in 1776, then sure. But like, we're not talking about that. I think it's silly. And I just think we are missing the opportunity with this Topuria fight to put it on Spaniard territory, put it in for the Spanish, and highlight the different parts of the world. For a guy, and I hate getting too political, but for a guy that really has a tough time with people that aren't American, he has no problem featuring a Spaniard as the main event of the card, which Gaethje's a great guy, but like, let's be real. Gaethje's on the way out in terms of his UFC career. He's taken a lot of fights. I mean, I was there in person covering the fight when he got rocked by Eddie Alvarez. He's taken a lot of knockouts. He's delivered some, but he's taken a lot of lumps. Ilia Topuria is like we talk about all the time how there's a lack of star power. There is star power with Ilia Topuria. He could leave the UFC right now and he can go to MVP Promotions and he'd be the main event of any card he wanted to be on, unless it was Ngannou versus Jones, or if Jake Paul put himself in the main event, whatever. That's the reality of the situation. He is one of the only stars the UFC can actually market. So they had to put him here. So to answer long-winded, I think it is just it's a poor judgment. Like, if you want to talk about the American territory and all this stuff and do it at the White House, then have an American card, right? But like, the fact that all the ill will, just talk and hatred from the president of the United States towards people of other countries, and then you have a Spaniard, which I think is awesome. Topuria is awesome, but you have a guy who's not from here leading your card, which is going to be the main reason a lot of people buy this fight. Because if it wasn't for Topuria, again, this would be a UFC Fight Night card. This would be the makings of you get this for free on ESPN.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, well, CBS and Paramount Plus.
Yes.
And UFC themselves made this card the second most important fight card of their summer, because Conor McGregor will be back, and he'll be back next month. And that's going to be the card that everybody is going to be focused on and zeroed in on. So the presentation will be intriguing, but it's going to be, we'll see what happens. I mean, it's going to be a kind of a cramped sports weekend because it's going to go up against the NBA Finals if it goes to Game 5, the World Cup and other events. So I don't think the UFC, in terms of putting their top superstars on the card for casuals, I don't think they did a good enough job with this card. And I only say that again because all of a sudden, out of the blue, Conor McGregor is available.
Yeah. And I guess my other thought real quick is, they're talking about, and there are reports, I'm just confirming because I think they've been shot down since, but there were reports at one time that the Oval Office, there were going to be walkouts from the Oval Office. And, we just talked about at the beginning of the show about, safety and all this and the concerns and all that with President Trump attending the New York Knicks San Antonio Spurs Game 3 tomorrow night in Madison Square Garden. You want to talk about like a safety concern? And I get it. Like, he's actually leading this, him and Dana White, they're leading this charge, but it's not just a fighter. Like, for anybody that's never been in a fight in terms of MMA or boxing or wrestling or anything like that, like, I grew up in the fight game. So like, I understand you're going to have your team there. You're going to have multiple people there. You bring about 10, 15 deep. So you're having, depending on what they do, and if this even is a thing anymore, because like, again, I've seen multiple reports, but you're going to have anywhere from 15 to 30 people in the Oval Office at one time. So you want to talk about safety concerns and things like that too. It's like, I don't quite understand it. There's a lot of things that could go wrong with it, with not only the presentation, but also just the card not delivering. People looking back and going, what a giant flop that was. And this, we talked about it on this show. And this is my final point. I'll hand it back to you, Rozycki. But My final point is this. We talked about it on this show about MVP promotions. I said a few weeks ago, I said that fight, that whole card was the open the door moment for Jake Paul and Netflix and MVP promotions because John Jones is actively trying to get out of his UFC contract. If he gets out of his UFC contract, he's going to fight Francis Ngannou before they're both, hang the gloves up, toss the gloves in the octagon. There is an opportunity here in the next few months. If UFC 250 flops, and then MVP puts on another show, another great card, on top of a Conor flop, because if that Conor card doesn't do well, or if he comes back and Max Holloway, who's very capable of whooping his ass, whoops his ass, then we're having a discussion about there might be a power struggle. Just like in the wrestling world, it was WWE and AEW for a moment. I know everybody laughs about AEW now. For a moment, it was there. Talk about it in the MMA world, this would be it, Rozycki.
Well, the other thing we were going to talk about was security concerns. It looks to, and I haven't checked any sort of recent information on it. They're planning another round of No Kings protests on that weekend because addition with the card, it's also Trump's 80th birthday. So, which I'm sure is why, it's complete coincidence that they're going to put that card on that day for sure. If there was just another day for, that we could celebrate the American 250th anniversary, that would just make sense. Who knows? Maybe the 4th of July. But we're going to keep an eye on, that's something to keep an eye on with these No Kings protests happening too, because they've been doing well with the fact that, they've come out and they've made their point. They've been nonviolent. There's been no, malarkey going on with, any sort of violence or property destruction. I don't know how long that's going to be. I don't know how many times you can do that without everything going, right, and having some stupid dumbass just do something wrong and set everything off. But that doesn't change the fact, even if everything does go well, you're going to have 250,000 people who are not fans of the president surrounding the president and his fight card. So that could be something to keep an eye on too. Also, and I know this isn't a sports thing at all, but he's going to Madison Square Garden tomorrow. Seating capacity 20,000 people. They're having this outdoor UFC event on the White House lawn. And meanwhile, he's trying to convince us that he needs a ballroom to be secure and everything like that and control the crowd flow. But it is what it is.
Yeah, I just want gas prices to go down.
Yeah, I mean, well, dude, we got gold statues to buy, man. Come on,
I know. I got another big thing when we get to what have we learned on Dana White that needs to be addressed.
We can go on what we've learned right now, guys. I mean, we're already sitting in, we're already 2.5 hours in right now, and AA has a work meeting to hit in about 7.5 hours. So we can get this thing going right now with what we've learned.
So yeah, I'll go first since I teased it. Dana, and we're talking about UFC. Dana White about a month ago had this to say. Take a look.
I hate this whole men's mental health bullshit that they talk about. Unfortunately, when you're a man, you are the provider. You are the one that takes care of your family. You are the example for your kids when they grow up, and your sons, and your daughters. And you, unfortunately, you can't be that guy that's. I see these guys posting on social media, I had a bad day and I'm so sad and all this other crazy shit.
So unattractive.
It's unattractive to other males, let alone women. I can't even imagine. I'm really against all that shit.
It looks like a fucking unshaven scrotum.
That was courtesy of the Kate Miller show, whatever, set there at the corner.
And is that Stephen Miller's wife? Is that the okay? Probably. I'm gonna trust her opinion on what's attractive and not when they're married to that fucking dickhead.
So I'll let you guys jump in 2 seconds. June, the month of June, which is one of the top months of the year, is Men's Mental Health Month. And everything that Dana White mentioned in that clip is garbage. Don't buy into any of that. Men, we step up, we take responsibility, we do everything that we need to do. But a lot of men don't talk at all about mental health because they're afraid of a-holes like Dana White. And the way that we show that we struggle with mental health, it's different from women. The way we show it is through anger. The way we show it is through withdrawal. Some may say, aggressive behavior, substance use. And I'll give you some stats here. According to the National Alliance on Mental Illness, men are nearly 4 times more likely to die by suicide than women. Over 6 million men in the United States experience depression annually. And despite high rates of suicide and distress, men are much less likely to seek professional therapy to reach out for help. And that's something we got to change. We try in this network, we preach mental health and things like that. I don't want that pillar to just be a passing note. I think, every one of us in some way, shape, or form, we go through it. But because we're men, we're expected to overcome it so we can please some idiot like Dana White. And we don't have to do that. I thought Kyle had a great story, I think a couple weeks ago, about the 988 suicide line. Was that correct, Eli?
Correct.
Yeah. And that number is being used more. Listen, you need help. If you are not in it for whatever reason, reach out to people and know not to judge. And I think we're doing a better job of that. But you still got people like Dana White who thinks old school and thinks other ways. Don't buy into that. You're still going to take care of your responsibilities. You're still going to be a good example to your peers, your kids, things like that. I just want to put that out there because you're going to face opposition. F them. Handle your business. Do what you need to do. If you need to cry, do it. It's okay. I've had more than a fair share of tough days, but it's okay. You got a great support system. You got great people around you, or even just one person that you can reach out to. Do it. And even if you don't have that one person, that 988 number is there. It's there. It's there. Just I know things can get tough. And one thing that people don't talk about, everybody talks about like winter depression. There's also summer depression as well. There's also,
especially when you're a Yankee fan.
I know, but there's also summer depression as well. There's also of, oh man, there's a lot of stuff going on outside and I don't have anything to do. It's okay. We're in this together. Tune in to us, to your support system, everything like that. Don't let people get you down. For you men out there, don't let people get you down. So I just wanted to bring awareness to that. That clip has bothered me for the last month. There hasn't been a good opportunity to play it, but F him. And honestly, if that's the representation of UFC, I hope Jake Paul is successful and they overtake the UFC as the number one MMA promotion, because that kind of attitude right there, F him. We're better than that. Men and women, we're better than that.
Yeah, he's a dick bag. I agree with everything you said, and I don't think his opinion is worth considering in this situation. The only thing I'll listen to Dana White on is how to fuck over your talent and not pay anybody anything while you're making a lot of money, because he really is not much else to me. I think anybody who looks at him as a role model and as a influencer and as a guy to live their life as a severely wounded and just incomplete human being, and I pity them, and I really have nothing more to say about Dana White.
Yeah, no, you guys know how I feel about mental health, so I just no words except for just check on your loved ones and check on your peeps, man. It's gonna be cool. It's gonna be.
And
cool.
I will make a quick reminder. We do have a mental health podcast. Eli's dad, Papa Moon, every Saturday, 5:00 here on the Inside Edge Network, at Inside Edge Net on the socials. Folks, this stuff's important. It's important. And it's okay to have a bad day, but you have a support system. We're there for you. So if you want, good heal, just tune into that podcast as well, that show every Saturday, 5:00. But don't listen to assholes like Dana White, because no, don't do it. Don't do it. You'll be perfectly fine. We got you.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think I guess I'll go next.
Okay.
Mine's very quick. I had a great weekend. Got in some sunshine. Was rocking and rolling. Got a new haircut. Doing real well there. Went out to a grog shop yesterday. Had a great time. Trust performed their 1-year anniversary of Fluorescence, which is their album they dropped last year. So it was really cool. Great to see Trust. They're really refined, and it was awesome to see Formerly Candace for the first time. And my guy Phoenix Vise playing with them. It's so cool. What's cool about Formerly Candace is their drummer is the lead singer. So he like has the mic set up there while he's drumming, doing his thing. It's just very cool. And to see my guy Phoenix get up there and just rock out was awesome. And then of course, Geesh opened up the evening. They were great too. Just really great music. Great to see some people that I haven't seen in a while. Got to see my bro Mark B. Easy and his wife from La Hele. So it was awesome. Papa Moon came out there with me. So, I was the second most important Moon in the building that night. It was awesome. It was great. And I was a little incognito because, people are still getting used to not the long hair, so I kind of like still had all my Eli Moon stuff, but I had no long hair. Anyways, great weekend. Got to see my niece and nephew at the park today. We went and rocked out with my sister, and her kids and my pops. It was awesome. One downfall to my weekend, however, was I was going to chase after my niece. She went to run to the slide, and I didn't want to run up the big slide. So I was like, all right, well, let me chase after her. And I lunged like this, and I smacked the monkey bar.
Myself today.
Oh, yeah. Smacked the monkey bar straight head on. Boom! Like that. And I mean, fellas, listen, I know Mitchell Robinson was day-to-day going into finals game 1. I was minute-to-minute going into the show tonight. I called Double A earlier. Rozycki, I said, dude, first thing I checked for was a lump on my head. I go, oh my God, please no. So I started checking that, and I started rubbing. And my niece is a sweetheart. She is a sweetheart. She walks up to me. She's 2 years old. She walks up to me, and she goes, Uncle E, it's okay. And she put her hand on my head. And you know what? I was like, you know what? If my niece says it's okay, we're okay. So what I learned this weekend is just slow down, whatever it is, whether, you feel like you don't have a grasp on certain things or tasks or whatever you're trying to take care of in your relationships. If you feel like you're moving a little too, just slow down. And if you're at the park with your niece and nephew or your kids, slow down, or you'll smack the shit out of your head on the monkey bar and be sitting here with a neck crank or ache or whatever for the entire. I don't know. I'm going to be in pain for the next 2 days. I just the first thing that happened as soon as I hit it, I was like, I've had enough concussions in football. I'm going to start practicing what I need to remember. It is today's date. This is where I'm at. This is who I live with. These are my nearest friends. I just started rattling things off. I'm like, okay, I'm just dazed. So yeah.
Hold up.
That's what
was the first? So Rob, when I talked to Eli earlier, the first thing I asked him, so are you still TV presentable?
Yeah. That was my first worry. I'm like, oh my God.
I stopped worrying when all of a sudden, when he was just talking about a good old fashioned head injury, I thought he was going to talk about, blowing a hammy or, old man kind of, messing with the back. That's where I thought he was going to go. So, it's just Moon's head. He's fine with that. He can function completely fine without that brain.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. It's not even the head anymore. It's a little numb from metal on the head, but it's like the neck. It's like the neck pain. The neck pain's there, man. The neck pain's there.
I had to.
Yeah, you got your shit rocked. That's what it was. Yeah, and that's the whole thing too. Is you're realizing that you can't, take the fall like you did when you were 15 years old and get back up and just go about your day. Yeah, any sort of blunt force trauma is going to have to, require some attention.
Dude, I was and I was going to swear so hard, but I didn't because I was at the park and I was there in front of my niece and I tried to be a good role model. And I'm like, oh, it was one of those you just start breathing in, mother, oh my God. And like I said, my niece, literally, I opened my eyes. She's like, it's okay, Uncle Lee. Puts her hand on my head. You know what? We're okay. We're okay. Because you know what? I can't look, it's okay to be, obviously feel your emotions and everything. But in that moment, I had to be Uncle Lee, and I had to show her that metal bar did not hurt me. That metal bar did not hurt me. You know what? I got your back. Don't worry. But yeah, that's what I learned this weekend. Metal bars hurt. Still at 28.
Okay. Well, I have learned that we haven't really evolved as a society, and we have a shit ton of hypocrites out there. And we, obviously, we're talking about mental health awareness month. We're also talking about Pride Month too. Double A featured somebody who was shitting all over mental health awareness. And if you were to go on Twitter, social media, really in general, you'll see a bunch of people shitting on Pride Month too. We all know that, companies and sports teams and, folks in the public eye will change, logos, marketing campaigns, do whatever they need to do for Pride Month. It's kind of just standard operating procedure at this point. And, the Guardians, I think they're going to have their Pride Night coming up this week. We downtown Cleveland just had their Pride Parade actually just yesterday, same day as that International Friendly. And a lot of teams are out there putting Pride logos up and talking about inclusion and talking about things that we should be talking about. And the amount of people who are shitting all over that, who are disparaging it, who are insulting the teams for putting the logo up, who are using language that I honestly thought we had gotten rid of a long time ago when we're starting to talk about gay, lesbian, transgendered folks. And they're making their political stance known that God says that being gay is bad, and therefore I have to shit on it and shit on anybody who is in that lifestyle, anybody who is an ally to those folks in that life, because the Bible says it is not right. Well, we can debate on the language in the Bible all day. It's a pretty ambiguous translation, interpretation. It can go a couple of different ways. And yes, some people take it for, yes, we don't like gay people. And I'll even stipulate that. Okay, if you want to admit that and if you want to live your life by that, fine. Then why the hell are you watching this show right now? Not because I'm a bleeding heart liberal, but because this show started off on the Sabbath. And according to Exodus, you should not be doing anything on the Sabbath. It should be your sacred meeting place. I guess I feel honored if you consider us your sacred meeting place. You're not supposed to do anything on the Sabbath. So why the fuck are you even watching this show? Another reason why why are you watching this show? We were talking about Myles Garrett for a good length of time, and the NFL and football. Well, the Bible says the pig is unclean. Even though it does have a cloven hoof, it chews its own cud and therefore is not clean, and you should not touch any bit of that pig, its flesh, its skin, anything. So people who are playing football in the NFL, people who are playing football for the University of Notre Dame, they are all committing a sin, and they, just like gay people in your eyes, need to be shat upon every day of the week. And let's not get started on, well, we're talking about pigs. No more delicious breakfast meats for you. No more bacon, no more sausage, no more anything that includes pork. I hope you don't like barbecue. I hope you don't like pulled pork, because you know what? If you think this about gay people, because God thinks this about gay people, God also doesn't like you eating pork, doesn't like you working on the Sabbath, doesn't like you doing a lot of things that you do on a daily basis. But you know what? You pick out all that language, the 2 Bible verses about, hey, maybe gay people shouldn't be there, and you use that. You don't do that because you believe every word of the Bible. You are using that because you already don't like gay people for whatever reason. Either you don't understand them, your parents made you watch the Birdcage one too many times, something along your history makes you not like gay people. Or maybe you might be like, a few of the politicians out there that chat upon gay people, but have a pretty big grinder following online. Maybe you might be repressing something. But either way, you're not doing it because God hates it. You're doing it because you hate it, and you're using God's words to make it okay. So please stop shitting on pride, all this pride stuff, the logos, the parades, the just general sentiments of inclusion. Sports are for everybody. Sports, life is for everybody. Music is for everybody. Culture and art is for everybody. And when you start shitting on pride people, you sound quite like the people maybe around 1940 that thought folks like Jackie Robinson and Satchel Paige and Larry Doby and Roy Campanella and Cool Papa Bell couldn't play Major League Baseball because it's about as fucking arbitrary of a difference. So please, just stop it. If you don't like it, keep it to yourself. Don't go online and proclaim that your fucking hate is on par with everybody else with everything about you. No, I am just tired of all of this stuff, and I am shocked that 10 years after we've made gay marriage legal, 10 years after a lot of these things have fallen, that we're still fighting these dipshit, stupid battles that we don't need to fight that are just wasting everybody's time. Can we just fucking calm down? And if you do hate gay people, and if you don't like the whole, gay lifestyle, gay way of whatever, okay, and if you say it out loud, okay, but at least call it for what it is. Don't say it's God hating gays. It's you hating it. It's you. Take responsibility for your bigotry, for your hate, for your biases, for all of your bullshit. It's not God's problem. God says, love thy neighbor. God says, treat everybody with respect. Treat everybody the way you want to be treated. You forget about that part too when you're shitting on people you don't like either. So just stop it. I'm tired of it.
I ain't got nothing.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah. No, that needs to be said. Prayers to everyone out in Toledo. Some unfortunate events, fortunate shootings that happened there on Saturday. So prayers out there as well. As a society, we got to be better.
Come on, dude. Like seriously, like really, saying that that gay people aren't equal to everybody else sounds as dumb to me as 75, 80 years ago saying that black guys couldn't play Major League Baseball, that, Rush Limbaugh 30 years ago saying that the black quarterback is not able to process stuff. You sound moronic. You sound unevolved. You sound completely Neanderthal in this bullshit. And maybe you are the ones that shouldn't be around this stuff. Maybe it's not the gay folks or the minorities or anybody else. It's you. Maybe you need to go. Fuck you.
I think we hit it. I mean, that's every month, everyone's important. That's just what it is. Like everyone, has a story to tell, and we're all trying to live a good life. Just don't get in. We gotta be better. That's
That being said, I do want to put paperwork forward that makes August 16th my birthday male pattern baldness awareness day. That's really all I ask.
Now you're asking for way too much.
Hey, dude, man, sunburn on the top of your head's a real thing, man. It's something you got to avoid.
Oh, I'm pretty sure
I don't want to say baldness day in America.
Yeah, what is it? Who beats who first? Let's see who gets there. National Bald Day.
Okay, so there is. So there's for you, Rob. Bald is Beautiful Day.
Yeah,
on September 13th.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna plan some sort of extravaganza. All right.
And you have another one, Rozycki, to add on that. Yeah, Be Bald and Be Free Day, which is held on October 14th.
Okay, I think we need to unveil. I think I'll unveil my inaugural class of the Bald Men Sports Hall of Fame in that situation.
We would love for you to come on. We're inviting you. I'm inviting you on behalf of Chad Bryan and myself to Prime Time. Every Tuesday we do a Tuesday Top 5. Around that time, we'd like to do your Tuesday Top 5 of iconic bald people in history.
Okay, well, yeah, we can do it either bald men in sports, bald men in media, or bald men in history. I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all.
Sports, history, everything. Who are your top 5 bald people?
That's really good.
You can think on it. Don't give it away to the people now. We got a little bit of time till August.
Although I will share.
I will give this away. Dana White will not be on that list.
I figured.
The list is already looking strong.
September 13th is a Sunday.
Oh, so we might need the list. We might need to bring Chad B on here to do a Sunday top.
I think we might have to shave Eli's head too that night.
No. Let's chill out.
Hey, bald is beautiful.
Eli, it looks great on you.
He ain't getting another cut till 2030.
No. So my mom and sister, I know I'm gonna go to bed here in a minute. My mom and sister said, "You look so nice. Are you gonna keep up on it this summer?" And I told them yes. So now I have to because I don't lie to the two most important women in my life. So,
couple of comments just to end the show. He was talking about mental health. I completely agree with this. Get out there and just walk.
Yeah.
The walking has helped me a ton last year. But when you do go out in nature, make sure you get spray so you're not fighting the bugs and stuff because you're swatted, But yeah, getting out there, seeing some trees, being around other people in the park, that'll help. And finally, this was too good to leave off the show.
You're gonna make me put on my glasses. What does this say?
Soak City and Space Mountain, ... Same difference.
Basically. I like that.
All right, Rob, take us home, buddy.
All right. On that note, Double A, he's going to turn it. Actually, he turned into a pumpkin about an hour ago. So yeah, we'll get him out of here. I know Eli's got stuff to do, and Lord knows, yes, I would like to get outside and get some fresh air right now. So thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for being a part of this. Again, every Sunday night, we cannot do this without you. Program note, we will not be here next Sunday. We will be taking a sabbatical. I'm going to be going to the beach. These guys are going to be doing a lot of production work and trying to get some of this stuff ironed out to make your experience even better than what it has been. But yes, no show next week. We'll be back and better than ever 14 days from now. Again, thank you guys for listening. Thank you to Eli, Double A, everybody here. We love you. We can't do this without you. Again, for everybody here in studio, I am Rob Rozycki. This has been the main event on the Inside Edge Net. And we'll see you when we see you.